Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
We tried Dynovite for gut health and immune support, and after a couple of weeks, our little Gizmo was acting like a puppy again. His coat was shinier, he had a lot less scratching and shedding, and he seemed like his happy old self.
My dog smelled and scratched constantly. We bathed and sprayed her, took her to the vet, but no results. Now, a little Dynovite in her food helps Bella keep her beautiful coat with no scratching or smell.
Get 10% off your next order of Dynovite nutritional supplements for dogs at Dynovite.com.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dynovite.
Columbo and Katie.
Join us on Friday as we'll talk to Missouri House candidate Justin Sparks at 2:25 and get the weekend forecast from KMOV Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton at 2:45.
Weekdays at 2 on NewstalkSTL.
I'm Ryan Higgins, and I approve this message. Our state needs fresh faces in government. That's why I'm running for state representative, to support and fully fund law enforcement and to give parents a bigger voice in their son and daughter's education. Also, as the son of a small business owner, I will make protecting small business a priority. Finally, and certainly not lastly, I will fight for our middle class that has been hit so hard the past 2 years. I know our future is bright, but the time is now to elect common sense candidates. I'm Ryan Higgins, and I'm running for the state representative from Missouri's 98th House District.
Paid for by Higgins from Missouri. Megan Higgins, Treasurer.
Open enrollment is coming for anyone covered by Affordable Care Act.
Open enrollment starts November 1st and stays open through January 15th.
Hi, this is Mike Butts with MB Health Insurance Agency. And regardless if you are new or renewing your health insurance, the process can be confusing and very time-consuming. MB Health is local here in St. Louis, and we will handle your enrollment quickly, properly, and effectively.
Call Mike Butts and his expert team at 314-544-5400
or visit mbhealth.com.
The good and bad with home improvement projects. The good, you save a buck or two. The bad,
Kevin, there's no hot water.
So you move on to the car.
Kevin, what's with the car?
Good news, you can recover from these.
Kevin!
Well, most all of them. But when it comes to your retirement, a mistake can be devastating. Call Steve All and the All Financial Group. They've been helping folks plan for retirement for years. That's why they've been able to correct do-it-yourself problems before they're problems. Get your complimentary assessment of where you are now and look at some of the retirement boxes you haven't even thought of.
Kevin!
You can't YouTube your retirement. Call Steve today, 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Get more details at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory services offered through All Financial Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuity products offered through Stephen All, Missouri license 8039738.
Talk radio made in St. Louis.
Very excited for what you guys are doing for the St. Louis community.
For St. Louis. Relevant local talk.
Saying what we are thinking.
This is News Talk STL.
You guys are awesome. I love you. And it's a tremendous honor to be on the station.
News, analysis, and opinion.
Thanks for covering the local angle.
Come on, people. This is America.
We better open our eyes.
Really local, really good.
News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and NewstalkSTL.com.
His fight for the Senate seat.
I'm trying to show people what a new breed of politician looks like. I know it's going to be hard, but damn it, this is important.
Tucker Carlson Originals, The Candidate, Blake Masters. Streaming now exclusively on Fox Nation. Sign up at foxnation.com.
Now, a look at what's happening from the Fox News Rundown.
Good morning. It's Friday, October 28th. This is the Fox News Rundown. President Biden returns to a key swing state today ahead of the midterms. Fox's Ryan Schmelz reports.
With just a few weeks to go before the midterms, President Biden will be joined by Vice President Kamala Harris in the key swing state of Pennsylvania. The president and vice president are scheduled to speak at the Pennsylvania Democratic Party's Independence Dinner at the Convention Center in Philadelphia. The two will campaign for candidates in a few key races, including the closely watched Senate race, where Democratic Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman is in a close race with Republican Dr. Mehmet Oz. State Democrats also looking to keep control of the governor's mansion, with Attorney General Josh Shapiro running against State Senator Doug Mastriano. Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Harris will also take part in a moderated conversation on protecting reproductive rights with Congresswoman Mary Gay Scanlon. The run-up to two critical Georgia election contests is bringing out one of the Democrats' top campaigners today. We have more from Fox's Gernal Scott.
Former President Barack Obama will be in Atlanta today to stump for Senator Raphael Warnock and gubernatorial challenger Stacey Abrams. The event at Atlanta's Gateway Center Arena is expected to draw a huge crowd as Georgians vote early and with fewer than 2 weeks to Election Day. Both Democrats, Warnock and Abrams, are locked in tight races where turnout could swing the result either way or lead to runoffs in early December. Georgia will be among several stops for former President Obama, who plans to campaign in Michigan and Wisconsin on Saturday. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
And Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas is warning that China, Iran, and Russia are all working overtime to hack the upcoming midterm elections. I'm Sue Guzman on the Fox News Rundown.
This is the Fox News Rundown.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1 and NewstalkSTL.com. News, analysis, opinion.
They're mad at inflation, crime. They're mad at gas prices. And the border with fentanyl rushing across it.
1019 and 94.1.
Vote!
The midterms were first Tuesday in November.
News Talk STL.
Oh, Adam, you are so romantic. And I love the kitchen you found with all these great crumbs.
Yeah, baby. Only the finest crumbs in the kitchen for my favorite aunt. Oh, no. It's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They always kill the mood.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888. We'd love to help you out. Learn more about our special $67 offer. You can visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Hello, St. Louis. Do you suffer from dry cough, static electricity, shocking the pet's nose when you go to pet them? Then you're in need of an April Air whole home humidifier. Jones Air and Water will install an April Air 600 model in the month of October for $650. For all News Talk listeners, find us on the web at joneswater.com or call us at 636-899-1040. You can be a filter or buy a filter. Jones Air and Water, 636-899-1040.
Hey, Tim Jones here for Rockwood Charcoal. If you love to grill as much as I do, I'm sure you prefer using charcoal over gas. Ever since I met Jonathan Heslop and he introduced me to his product, Rockwood Lump Charcoal, we're not using anything else. Rockwood's made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory and can be found in stores all across the country. It's the nationally highest consumer-ranked charcoal there is, so you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business right from my hometown of Eureka. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
I am a election denier because I don't think that 2020 was a free and fair election. And I get crap for that. But Stacey Abrams, the question was worded just like that. Was 2018 a free and fair election? She said no. Right. Why does she get to say it, but we don't get to say it?
Because you're not a Democrat.
I don't want to be one of those.
No, I don't either, Vic.
Vic Porcelli, weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL. The news and talk that affects St. Louis.
Raised interest rate by 0.75 percentage point.
Nothing short of bad. Vladimir Putin threatened
not to ease tensions, but to escalate them through the threat of nuclear weapons.
This is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. I am excited about a new streaming platform called VidGo. VidGo gives you the freedom to be entertained at a price you can afford. VidGo has all of my favorite live sports networks. They have a great choice of news. All of that for $59 a month. You deserve the freedom to be entertained at a price you and your family can afford. Please go to VidGo, VidGo.com/Bill to check it out. On this Friday, always I have believed in the ability of Americans to understand essential situations largely out of self-interest. Good example is the election of Donald Trump in 2016. Voters could easily see that Mr. Trump lacked self-discipline and was going to uproot convention in Washington. It was obvious. But that's what millions of folks wanted. after 8 years of President Obama and creeping government control. So Trump won, and so did the voters who cared about economic freedom and obeying the law. President Trump ran the economy efficiently, stopped border anarchy, and supported law enforcement. Now we have a divided country once again, but I'm not so sure many of my countrymen understand the Biden experience. Yes, working folks are suffering economically. Certainly the criminal justice system is in tatters. And culturally, Mr. Biden has largely defined his opposition as anti-democracy. We all know those things. So you would think the president and his progressive allies would be done. I mean, how much more evidence is needed before voters revolt against bad policies and foolish rhetoric? But I don't see the revolt, especially in the big cities. I see acceptance of terrible policies and incompetent leadership. I hope I'm wrong. I hope in the midterm elections, American voters send a message. We need effective and honest government. Back after this. Many timeshare owners are very upset because their yearly dues have nearly doubled. Well, Lone Star will guarantee the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. With their A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau, clients know that Lone Star Transfer is a company you can trust. For a free consultation, please go to LoneStarTransfer.com or call 855-551-7066. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the NewstalkSTL Weather Center.
Skies becoming sunny today. Another mild day with a high of 64 degrees under those sunny skies. The winds will be light out of the northeast and it stays dry today, tonight, and tomorrow. 44 degrees on Saturday morning, the high 65, but clouding up a little bit. And some rain moving in Saturday night into Sunday. The high on Sunday near 61 degrees. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
News, analysis, opinion. For podcast articles and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com. What's happening today? Here's your first dose of the news you need to know. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on NewstalkSTL.
Here's the good news. We have made it to Friday. Also, we are just a little over a week away from the actual election day. That's the good news, okay? The bad news is that we now have the last full week before the election to go through. It's going to be kind of a gauntlet of all the political ads and all of the October surprises and everything else that goes with it. And so we're going to have to just get through it together, my friends. All right. Good morning. Happy Friday. I'm Mike Ferguson. Interesting dynamics in a lot of the races around the country, particularly when you look at really one of the main swing states in the country now is Florida. And when you look at how voters who are Latino, Latina, Hispanic in general are voting, and they're breaking away from the left. They're breaking away from the Democratic Party. Brad Slager from RedState.com had an interesting article on that, and we had a chance to catch up with him on Thursday's program to get kind of a look at what's happening and why are the Democrats losing some of that vote. Interesting stuff here. Interesting article in Red State. It's called "As Florida is Poised to Become the Bellwether of Hispanic Voter Flight to the GOP, Democrats Are Unraveling." It's written by Brad Slager. I think, Brad, am I saying that right? Is it Slager or Slager?
Slager.
Slager. Yeah, so Brad Slager joins me right now. Florida, obviously, their demographics are going to be different than other states. When you look at this particular case, and there's been a lot of attention to this particular part of America's vote does seem to be breaking to the right. One, what are the reasons for that? And two, when you say Democrats are unraveling, why can't they stop it?
Well, to answer your second part of your question, they can't help themselves. They can't break their own pattern, basically, of pandering, because it's kind of a twofold problem with the Democrats. One is that they look at Hispanics as a solitary group, as opposed to a variety of cultures. Mm-hmm. So they keep approaching Hispanics as one voting bloc, as opposed to the Cuban sector, the Venezuelan sector, the Puerto Rican, the Mexican. They don't recognize those cultures independently. The second reason is that they're just so pre-programmed to treat them as a minority. So it's pure pandering on their policies is the way it works. And that's not what the Hispanic voter has been looking for over the span of a couple decades. There's been this shift taking place steadily that they are voting their best interest, not what they're told to vote.
Right, and it is interesting that you said that they're voting not their best, or they're voting their best interest and not what they're told to vote. If you watch, like I do, so that other people don't have to, if you ever watch The View, you see Sonny Hostin, who is of Hispanic descent, and Ana Navarro, who is also of Hispanic descent. But Ana Navarro is from Nicaragua, and she fled as a child from political oppression. It's a lot harder to sell socialism to Ana Navarro than it is to sell it to Sonny Hostin. And you get Hostin in there kind of explaining to her, how can you vote against your interests? How can you? Well, they're not my interests. And that's the response that you get from Navarro. And you're seeing that, I think, more and more, because it is very difficult to sell a message that leads to socialism to people who have already been down that road, especially by force.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, during the last presidential election, there was a little side story that took place here in South Florida that really reflects that. Kamala Harris was making a visit down here, and she did an unscheduled stop at a Venezuelan restaurant. Came in, photo op, glad-handing people. And as soon as she left, there was almost an immediate backlash. The Venezuelan customers started raging at the owners, basically. It's like, what is she doing here? We don't want socialism here. And the owner, by the 6 o'clock news, was disavowing her visit to his restaurant because of this backlash. And it's all because they didn't organize this ahead of time. She just thought, I'd come in and people are going to love me. And the Venezuelan customers were like, we don't want this here. And it became basically a small PR problem for the Democrats. It was just emblematic of their approach to the Hispanic community. They just assume they're going to be loved. They don't think it through and plan ahead.
Brad, when they don't get into all those nuances of different communities, different backgrounds, are they guilty of just simply overthinking this is all about immigration?
I'd say that's part of it, because the Democrat Party tends to just make assumptions. Oh, Hispanics are going to be on the side of this issue. But I live in South Florida, and I know plenty of native-born or transplanted Hispanics. They're in favor of legal immigration, not illegal.
Right.
And in fact, we saw this play out with the episode of the Martha's Vineyard flight that Ron DeSantis orchestrated. The press tried to build that into a huge controversy, but one of the polls that came out immediately after showed more Hispanics supported him in that move than opposed it. And that shocked a lot of people in the Democrat Party. They were like, wait, what? Like 53% said they were in favor of what he did, of Hispanics. That blew their mind. That they did not even see that coming. It's just another indication of how they just assume how Hispanics will vote or operate as opposed to talking to them and learning what they want.
I think to some degree they are aware of some of the complications, and because I always thought that was one of the reasons that Kamala Harris, in addition to just general ineptitude, the fact that she went to El Paso instead of one of the highly conflicted border areas, I think that was by design, because I think she probably knew she wouldn't be popular if she went to one of the places that was actually overrun.
Yeah, that was part of it. Yeah, because where it is, this is a problem that they've created. I mean, when Biden came into office, he had 40 or so executive orders that he signed in the first week or two. 1/4 of those were all border related, repealing the policies that Donald Trump had put into place, and that basically opened the floodgates. So she's not going to show up there and address the problem that they had created. And they kind of recognize that part of it, but they also don't recognize other parts because they're kind of under the assumption that all these people coming across are going to become Democrat automatically. And that's not the case. We've seen that in Florida with the Puerto Rican contingent. When Hurricane Maria hit, for instance, we had a flood of people come over as a result. They had to flee the destruction and they settled here in Florida. And there was talk that this was going to swing the state of Florida blue. Rick Wilson of the Lincoln Project, for instance, said this. He said 100,000 Puerto Ricans were going to change the complexion of the state. But what he doesn't realize, and I wrote at the time, Puerto Ricans have been coming over here for a better part of a decade already, fleeing the economic problems on their island that the Democrats created. So all the professionals, the educators and such, they had already migrated to the states and in Florida, and they tend to register independent when they do this because they don't want to reinstill the very problem they were getting away from. And sure enough, the very next election, Bill Nelson, who was our senator, comes from Orlando, the big center enclave of Puerto Ricans. The 3 counties around Orlando were very heavy Puerto Rican. He lost that election because he didn't get that automatic support he was counting on there. And that's just another indication of the Democrats making assumptions and not looking at these groups. They look at them as one entity, and that's their biggest mistake.
Brad Slager wrote the article, As Florida is Poised to Become the Bellwether of Hispanic Voter Flight to the GOP, Democrats are Unraveling, and you can find that at redstate.com. Brad, I've got time for just another question, last minute or so that we've got, is what are the lessons to be learned? Is this, obviously the dynamics in Florida are unique to Florida like every state, but are there any lessons for the rest of the country, for the Republicans, for conservatives, and obviously as a converse, that would be a lesson to the Democrats as well, over what's happening in Florida and the Hispanic vote?
I would primarily say is approach it from that standpoint of individual cultures, because what they're trying to do, one of the ways that Democrats are unraveling is that they treat this Hispanic flight as, if you look at the excuses they make, all of them are designed to make the Hispanic voter sound ignorant. They're being fooled by QAnon, misinformation on Spanish radio, all these, they're basically saying the Hispanics are being tricked into voting for a racist party, and they're insulting the group that they're trying to win back. Meanwhile, the GOP is appealing to them on an individual basis. Venezuelans, they address the problems in their country. Puerto Rico, what are their needs here in the States compared to the island? Cuban Americans have their own set of needs and policies. And the GOP, at least in Florida, has been doing that for years, and it's showing the effects today.
All right, Brad Slager, redstate.com. You can find his work there. Hey, Brad, really appreciate the time this morning.
Absolutely. Had a good time. Thanks, Mike.
Your Friday edition of the News Talk STL Morning News Roundup comes your way in just about 4 minutes and 7 seconds right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. For podcast articles and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com. Let's get the day started right. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
St. Louis, it's Joe Pags. Proud to be part of the News Talk STL lineup. Every weeknight from 7 to 10, we'll get together to talk about what's going on. News, analysis, opinion. You won't hear anything like it in St. Louis. The Joe Pags Show, every weeknight at 7 on News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Packages start at $29.99 a month with signed agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News and World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-561-3405. 800-561-3405. 800-561-3405. That's 800-561-3405.
We are the NFHS. That stands for the National Federation of State High School Associations. But really, what we stand for, together with the MSHSAA, are the 171,000 high school sports and performing arts students in Missouri. And so, we stand. We stand for the runners, debate team members, and basketball players. We stand for their coaches, officials, and adjudicators. We stand for the drummers, football players, and actors. We stand for the golfers, singers, and swimmers. We stand as the national leader and advocate for these essential activities and all who participate in them and make them possible. Because it is our purpose to ensure that high school students get to play, perform, and compete together. To learn more about who we are and what we stand for, visit nfhs.org.
Chris Domine is a husband and a father. Chris is an athlete. Chris is even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris was facing a very different story because his kidneys were failing.
Basically, the doctor said, if you don't get a kidney transplant and if you don't do dialysis, you are going to die.
Fortunately, Chris received a second chance at life, made possible by an organ donor.
You know, your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
More than 100 million people in America are registered organ, eye, and tissue donors. People of every age and ethnicity, because they believe it's the right thing to do. Imagine what you can make possible by leaving behind the gift of life. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
Subscribe and watch your favorite News Talk STL shows.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. The Vic Porcelli Show. Columbo and Katie. Jones and Arps.
Webcam streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble.
Subscribe and watch
News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Having your first cup of coffee? Mike's on his third. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
What a heavy week this has been for St. Louis. We're getting through it. We're going to get through it. We do have updates. One of the biggest obviously updates we have for you today is that the deranged school shooter who took two lives on Monday was not, as it turns out, a legal gun owner, because we were told that earlier this week. The narrative is quickly falling apart, but we can't, and here's my challenge to those of us who are conservatives or who are on the right side of the spectrum. We cannot let the fact that their narrative is falling apart stop us from trying to do the right thing and putting the focus back on the victims and their families.
And mental health care.
Right. But when what I'm talking about is when you've got the all of these issues and we see their narrative is falling apart, we still want to make sure that we are keeping it where it should be.
Oh, yeah.
That's where it should be. Because what's like Cori Bush threw together a town hall last night in order to whip up, her left-wingy stuff. And I'm not even going to play audio from it. I was so grossed out and disgusted by it and her that I'm going to give the updates throughout the day. We do have timelines of what happened. We've got the facts. We are going to point out the things that we were told that are turning out to not be true. But they're also challenging questions on our side. As a matter of fact, at 6:35, Nick Schroer going to be with us to talk about some of those. Media is already zoning in on, okay, Second Amendment Protection Act, is this to blame for it? Well, no, it's not, but let's get out ahead of it. But the left is not putting the focus on the victims and on their families. I think we need to be the ones who lead that. So we'll talk about that throughout the morning. Also, Elon Musk tweets out, "The bird is freed," as he takes ownership of Twitter. It's official. He owns Twitter, and he starts firing some people right away, and he started right at the top.
Yeah, the very top.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Totally okay with that.
So am I. And I mean, the one guy in particular that I know is going to get a lot of MAGA people excited is the fact that there's a guy he fired who actually was the one who permanently got rid of Donald Trump off of the platform.
Yeah, him and then the
CFO and the CEO.
Yeah, because there was a man and a woman, both of them who are both kind of jointly credited or blamed for that.
Yeah.
And so they're gone. I mean, they're already out the door.
Yeah.
Their stuff is boxed up. They are out the door. They are not there anymore.
Do we know was it just a simple dad joke that he did with that sink? I mean, was there another meaning behind it?
I don't know. I mean,
let that sink in. I'm going to throw everything out of here, including the kitchen sink.
Yeah, that's how I took it.
Yeah. Okay.
But remember, Elon Musk has got, as Gabe likes to call it, FU money, so he can be as weird as he wants.
Yeah.
I saw him walking in with a sink, and I'm thinking, that's really weird.
Yeah,
but, okay, at some point you've got so much money, you're quirky and eccentric, not just weird.
Well,
I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was. That was strange.
He is the richest man in the world.
Yeah.
Let's keep that in mind.
There you go. All right, so here are the stories. We're going to get into more depth about this at 6:05, but a couple of basic updates about that investigation into Monday's shooting at the Visual and Performing Arts High School. Okay, so we were told early on that by the police that it appears that the shooter was legally allowed to own that gun. Turns out that's not the case.
That's really who originated that?
Well, that's because they could find he didn't have a criminal record. That's what they were saying. Now, this is going to lead to some tough questions. So the shooter tried to buy a gun at a gun store in St. Charles. He was denied by the background check.
Okay.
And that is because he had been put involuntarily. He had been put in a mental health treatment facility, which flags you. And so he was denied a legal purchase. He ended up buying the gun from just another private seller, and we don't know who that is. Here's the thing: is that while it does not appear to be illegal to sell the gun to anybody, so the guy who sold the gun doesn't look like he broke any laws. It is under state and federal law illegal for somebody who has had that mental health history to actually own and possess the gun. Now, we can get into the Second Amendment implications of that later on. But by the law, he actually did not have a legal right to have the gun. So bottom line is that the gun control laws did not work. The gun control laws were put into place. They even denied a purchase. And whenever somebody says, look at this, look at all these thousands of gun purchases that were stopped because of the background check laws. That's why we need universal background checks. Well, no, because my guess is most or all of those all the time, they just simply go out and buy from somebody else.
Yeah.
So we'll get into more of that 6:05, but this is getting more intricate. And that means one narrative falls apart, which means that people are trying to build other narratives at the same time. All right, let's see here. Obviously the big social media, tech, culture, political, everything story. Elon Musk now in control of Twitter with a variety of reports telling us that the billionaire's purchase is now complete. And Elon Musk already making some big changes along the way. Let me get the right one here. There we go. Make some big changes. As I didn't plug the thing in again. Oh, geez.
That's all right, Mike.
Oh, I get so mad at myself when I do that,
You know, it's Friday and all.
It's Friday, and then, I've only been doing this for 28 years. You wouldn't think that I would. Oh, geez. All right, here's Brooks Singman from Fox News.
Elon Musk completing his $44 billion Twitter takeover, and he's wasting no time immediately cleaning house. He's firing CEO Parag Agrawal and 2 other top executives in his first power move as owner. And hours later, tweeting out, quote, "The bird has been freed," referencing Twitter's logo. Reports indicate Elon plans to fire up to 75% of the social media giant's workforce. Bloomberg is also reporting Musk will reverse lifetime Twitter bans, which can pave the way for people like former President Trump, the Babylon Bee, and others to return to the platform.
Musk said in a statement that he's interested in owning Twitter in part out of fear that social media will splinter into far right and far left echo chambers, and he doesn't want to see that happen. We're going to have a lot of conversations about that today.
Yeah, I don't think it would be any fun if Twitter became just a right-wing, type of, echo chamber. I personally wouldn't want to. I mean, for example, right now I'm on Truth Social and I'm on Getter. I don't frequent them. I have a place there, for now. But I just really go to Twitter because I can interact with other people.
Yeah. So we're going to get that. I think 620. Let's do that when we're on 620. All right. GD report for the third quarter released yesterday shows a 2.6% growth, which the White House is celebrating. But economists throughout the ideological spectrum, even the ones on the president's side, are pretty cautious. For those who still say we aren't technically in a recession, they're still worried about it happening. Remember, the economy actually shrank over the first 2 quarters of this year. So 7:35, we're actually going to talk to an economist from the American Institute for Economic Research about all of that. Quick note, the Metro is offering a holiday sale on fares. Monthly pass is now $50 through the end of the year. Weekly pass is $15. The sale starts on Tuesday the 1st. More information at metrostlouis.org/mobile fares if you're into riding the Metro in the middle of the winter. So enjoy that if you do. Blues lost their 3rd in a row last night.
I know.
Yikes. Final score, Predators 6, Blues 2. Predators scored the last 5 goals of the game. The Blues host the Canadiens on Saturday. Also, the World Series begins tonight. Philadelphia Phillies versus the Houston Astros. First pitch in Houston is at 7:03. Okay. The series is over the air on Fox 2. You can watch it then. Who you got, Phillies or Astros?
I want the Phillies. It's going to be close. I mean, either one, but because the Cardinals aren't there.
Right. I'm sorry, good.
No, I was just going to say about the Blues, but we can move on with that.
Yeah, I want to see the Phillies win. I think the Houston Astros are going to win, but I've been wrong about the playoffs every freaking step of the way.
Yeah, I just think the Phillies have that psychological edge for whatever reason they do.
Yeah, and hey, if the Cardinals had to lose, at least I'd like to lose to the world champions.
Yeah,
the ones who took out everybody.
Yep.
And JT Realmuto is a great catcher. I'd like to see him get a ring.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-281-4224. 800-281-4224. 800-281-4224. That's 800-281-4224.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at
NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Conservatives are cheering and they're watching with cautious optimism now that Twitter is under new management. Tesla CEO Elon Musk completing his $44 billion purchase of the social media platform. Among his first orders of business, firing Twitter's CEO, its chief financial officer, and its chief counsel. Tech analyst Omar Akhtar says, fasten your seatbelts, it's going to be a wild ride.
There is a chance that one of the first things he'd like to do is bring back everybody that was banned or bring back everybody that was controversial. Certainly that's part of his MO. And that could happen with or without Elon Musk.
Among the highest profile figures banned from Twitter, former President Trump. The question of the day is, will he be returning to the platform now that Musk occupies a corner office? 8 people found dead in a burning house in the Tulsa suburb of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma.
Early indications, according to officers on scene, confirm that they are investigating a homicide.
Broken Arrow police spokesman Ethan Hutchins telling KTUL it's going to take some time to get to the bottom of it.
It's a complex scene with a lot of moving parts in the state of the house, given the fire damage. So this remains under investigation.
A grave provocation, that's how South Korea refers to North Korea's latest missile launches. 2 ballistic missiles fired toward the sea. The U.S. warning Pyongyang against deploying nuclear weapons, saying that would spell the end of the communist regime. Where do we stand on gas prices this morning? AAA puts a national average for a gallon of regular at $3.76. That is up a fraction from yesterday. Watching Wall Street, Dow futures down 53 points. NASDAQ futures off 122 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
My name's Adam Barata. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold, the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Blindster.com sells custom-made blind shades and shutters that are easy to install at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are custom-made for your windows and are guaranteed to fit. Don't hire a pro, do it yourself. Save big at Blindster.com. Heavy westbound 70 Lake St. Louis to Route Z, and then steady heavy volume westbound 70 between Hokel Parkway and Forestell. Slow eastbound 270 Lindbergh to New Florissant. Stop and go southbound 270 Olive to Manchester. Northbound 270 at Ladue. There's an accident taking out the 2 left lanes. Westbound 64 backs up Kings Highway to McCausland. Delays eastbound 64 McKnight to Big Bend. Eastbound 64 backs up downtown past Jefferson to the Poplar Street Bridge. And you're jammed southbound 55 between 44 and Potomac. I'm Tori Lyons from the Newstalk STL Traffic Center.
From the Newstalk STL Weather Center.
Skies becoming sunny today. Another mild day with a high of 64 degrees under those sunny skies. The winds will be light out of the northeast and it stays dry today, tonight, and tomorrow. 44 degrees on Saturday morning, the high 65, but clouding up a little bit. And some rain moving in Saturday night into Sunday. The high on Sunday near 61 degrees. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
This hour of Newstalk STL brought to you by All Solutions Pest Control, 636-486-7888, or visit them at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All
Solutions Pest Control.
Hey folks, Tim Jones here for Hanson's Tree Service. As my daughters would say, it's fall, y'all. That means it's the perfect time to call Hanson's. Prime time for Hanson's to come out and do all that fall trimming before winter storms can bring down trees and limbs on the homestead. Get on the Hanson's schedule for winter dormant oil applications to protect your trees from insects taking shelter over the winter, and a perfect time for Hanson's to put you on a preventative plant health care program. Everything you need for winter can be found at Hanson's. HansonsTree.com.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on NewstalkSTL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Decision 22 News.
The inflation, gas prices.
Decision 22 Analysis.
The things the American people want to hear about.
Decision 22 Opinion.
Same old tired talking points.
In St. Louis, Decision 2022 happens right here. News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
We have a hope.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up.
What do you call a genius in President Biden's Homeland Security Department? A visitor.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up.
All right, let's hit it head on with some of the tough stuff right
Boom.
now. Yep, let's do it. 6:06 right now. I'm Mike Ferguson. Paul Cartman in for Gabe Pfeiffer today, and of course Ken Williams is here. Paul, first of all, hey, appreciate having you here.
Yeah, glad to be here. As
good morning,
always.
Paul. We're diving in head first.
Let's do it.
6:35. We're actually going to talk to State Representative Nick Schroer because we're seeing kind of one of the new tactic of the media and some of the leftist politicians in response to the school shooting, and that is because we have updated information, and the narrative that was hastily created starting Monday morning is really starting to fall apart. And when I say that, I don't want people to take it the wrong way. I am not trying to celebrate that once again the left is wrong on something. The focus here is that we've got 2 innocent lives taken by a murderer. We've got 7 innocent young people who were hurt by a murderer. So we need to be the ones that try to keep the focus on that where it should be, but we also need to understand what's happening. We were told by police earlier this week that the shooter, Orlando Harris, 19 years old, legally owned the gun used to kill 2 and injure 7. Turns out that's not the case. Okay. Because he was, as it turns out, involuntarily committed to a mental health treatment facility at one point recently, his attempt to purchase the gun from an actual licensed gun dealing store, happened to be in St. Charles, was denied by the background check. He ended up buying a gun from an individual anyway. Now, the individual obviously doesn't have any way to know what his background is or anything like that. So the seller, it doesn't appear, did anything illegal. It was, by state and federal law, illegal for him to own the gun because he had those mental health history on that.
Was it illegal for him to own the gun, or was it illegal for him to purchase a gun from a licensed dealer?
It was illegal for him to possess the gun. Let's put it that way, to possess the gun. Caroline Hecker from KMOV gives us kind of a timeline as to how this happened as far as him getting possession of the gun.
The first time Orlando Harris went to buy a weapon, he was blocked. So here's a look at the timeline. Police tell us Orlando Harris first attempted to buy a gun from a licensed dealer in St. Charles on October 8th. That sale was blocked by an FBI background check. The shooter then sought out and bought the rifle used in the school shooting from a private seller. That private seller had legally purchased the gun from a federally licensed dealer in December of 2020. Then, 9 days before the shooting, Harris's family called police with concerns over the gun being inside their home. The gun then went to a third party. Eventually, the gun got back into Harris's hands.
Okay, so that was Caroline Hecker from our news partners KMOV. So here's what we're now seeing, Paul, is that I'm already seeing news articles writing because of Missouri's Second Amendment Protection Act, police were not able to take the gun away when the family asked him to get the gun out of the house. So another adult took the gun, and then this guy went and somehow got it back. And we don't know yet how he got it. So we've got that being blamed already. And we've also got people saying, well, if this had happened in Illinois, and I actually saw this in one of the articles, this wouldn't have happened because there's a red flag law. Well, I don't know how that would have changed somebody buying something from an individual. And of course, I saw one article that said, look, the background check worked. Really? The universal background check worked because it blocked him from buying the gun. Well, he clearly got a gun anyway, which is what we point out to people all the time. So gun control laws did nothing to stop him. Maybe minorly inconvenienced him, but did not actually stop him.
I'm curious to know if he was living in his parents' house and his parents did not want guns in the house, why didn't the parents just take the gun away from him? It's their house.
Yeah, they called the police.
So this is one area where if you're a parent, you don't need to get the police involved in terms of what you do and don't want in your house. Mm-hmm. You take it out of your house. You tell a kid out of your house, or you tell your son to move out.
Yeah, but you also have the situation where he's a 19-year-old. I mean, at the time, he was probably 17, 18.
No, it was recently. He was already 19, yeah.
They're concerned, too, about they're a little bit in fear. I mean, they're concerned for their safety a little bit. They're not going to just say, well, you can't have it. See ya.
Well, he ended up, just as a quick note on there, and I'm sorry to interrupt, he actually rented a storage unit and stored it there.
Oh, so they may not have even
they had
known.
it out of the house.
Yeah, he did have it out of the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a different part of the story.
Right, which we just found out. I just found out this morning.
Huh.
So it seems to me, and this is one of the things I think, I don't know, you have to kind of figure out where this discussion's going. Are we just going to wind up discussing what gun control policies work and which ones don't work? At the end of the day, I'm still curious to know. I'm still not sure, though. Was he in illegal possession of a gun? Because there is a difference between having a right to own a gun versus having a right to purchase a gun.
Right.
If you're a felon, you can't even own a gun.
Yep.
But there's a lot of people who are on different lists who can't buy a gun, even though they're allowed to keep guns they already own, for sure, which means that it's not illegal for them to possess a gun.
Right.
But the bottom line is the guy committed murder. Mm-hmm. That's the crime.
Yeah.
That's the crime. There's no legal protections anywhere in the Constitution or anywhere else for you to commit murder. So regardless of whether he had a gun or his parents let him have it or they didn't want it in the house, none of that, to me, all of that's really irrelevant because he committed a crime with the gun. So that's what he should be punished for.
And that's a really good point, Paul, because they keep focusing on this gun violence, okay? It could have been car violence. It could have been machete violence. It could have been any kind of it could have been pen violence if he was really good. He killed people. And so what are they going to do? They're going to get rid of everything that he could have used? No. They're not. Of course not.
Mm-hmm.
Now, remember, 6:35, State Representative Nick Schroer is going to be with us because the super minority, politically speaking, in Missouri, they're saying this is going to be, their big issue. Want more gun control. Want more gun control. You are going to see this shooting used as an example of why they want to repeal Second Amendment Preservation Act, why they want to enact a red flag law, and that's going to be the narrative. We should also be the ones who are saying, first of all, we've been making the argument that the gun controls don't work. They only disarm law-abiding people. They are an infringement on everybody's personal freedom, and we also need to be the ones to say, do not forget that there are families that are hurting right now. There are GoFundMes out there. I do a big promotion of it, but they've already met their goals on there. And so from people to people outside of politics, we need to be the ones to also say, let's show some class and really have that sympathy and empathy for the families who were, as you said, Paul, affected by a murderer. They weren't affected by legislation. They were affected by a murderer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's important to really understand. And this is one thing that the left has really shown their vitriolic colors on. Remember a few years ago, it really became popular among the left. Whenever someone said, hey, my thoughts and prayers are going out to these victims, the left are, your thoughts and prayers. Like, they don't even want you to have thoughts and prayers. So they're not concerned about the victims. To them, it's just all about control and authoritarianism. And, they haven't even bothered to think, thoughts and prayers. That's just how people express concern. And if you want to change policy, that's a good place to start. But they don't even want that. They want to jump straight towards complete control and disarming people.
Exactly. All right, 314-912-1019. Still ahead here. In about 4 minutes or so, Elon Musk makes it official. He's moving his stuff into his office. People
Happy
getting
day.
fired already. I love it. All right, how's it going to change things? Also, Nick Schroer, state representative, going to be with us at 6:35. And at 6:50, you play stupid virtual games with cartoon characters. You win stupid, very real legal prices in a courtroom. This happened in St. Louis County. I'll tell you about that at 6:50. It's going to make you feel better about yourself in comparison to these people, I promise. This is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Am I being judgy again, guys?
A little bit. That's all right.
Yeah.
For podcast articles and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com.
Can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this is your cousin Bob. Get up, what are you waiting for? Get up.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Want to give me more information?
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. 270 eastbound before Route 159 in Illinois, construction work has the left lane closed until about 1 p.m. this afternoon. Taking a look at traffic times in your area, Illinois, from westbound 270, 5570 to McDonald. Traffic's running 23 minutes. Northbound 270 from 55 to McDonald, you're looking at a 20-minute commute. 70 from Broadway to 270, traffic's running about 15 minutes. And 40 from downtown to 270, you're looking at a 13-minute commute. Blindster.com sells custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters that are easy to install at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are custom-made for your windows and are guaranteed to fit. Don't hire a pro, do it yourself, and save big at Blindster.com. I'm Kat from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Colombo here for Agers Heating and Air Conditioning. We trust Agers with our home because their number one priority is doing right by the customer. Temperatures are changing outside, and as we transition from warmer temps to cooler ones, if you have any issues keeping your family comfortable, don't wait. Call the great team at Agers so they can address the issue before it gets worse. Because whether it's repairs or replacement, Agers is there with the clarity and attention to detail your home deserves. Contact Agers now at 636-242-6515 or through their website, callagers.com.
In St. Charles District 105, there's one clear choice for state representative. Adam Schwadron has fought hard to punish porch pirates, cut taxes, keep our elections safe, and secure and protect personal property rights. Next year, Adam Schwadron will work to remove Soros-funded prosecutors that are refusing to do their jobs and jeopardizing our safety. On November 8th in St. Charles, vote for Republican Adam Schwadron for state representative.
Paid for by Citizens for Schwadron, Mike Summers, CPA, Treasurer.
Hi, I'm Dr. Alan Link, owner of the Dental Link. You've heard ads about teeth in a day, but did you know that you will be chewing on plastic, acrylic teeth? Here at the Dental Link, we can give you porcelain crown and bridge teeth utilizing mini dental implants that function much more like real teeth at about half the cost. Plus, mini dental implants are less invasive, less painful, and your recovery time is much shorter. Give us a call at 314-794-6464 or simply visit us today at thedentallink.com.
I'm Susie Moore, and this is More to the Point. Don't count your chickens before they're hatched. It ain't over till the fat lady sings. There are all sorts of idioms that caution against getting ahead of yourself. Anyone who's been burnt by overly optimistic expectations knows you save yourself a great deal of heartache if you keep them in check. Of course, that runs counter to the impulse to predict outcomes, whether it's betting on horses or political candidates. There's a whole industry built around polling and predicting electoral outcomes, and frankly, people like me who write and talk about politics for a living would likely be hurting for content if it weren't for these sorts of endeavors. Yes, right now, all signs and the conventional wisdom point towards a sweeping win for Republicans in November, but we've also seen conventional wisdom upended quite a bit of late, and it's difficult to keep the creep of cynicism at bay. I'm an optimist by nature, but I've also followed politics long enough and had my expectations demolished enough that I do my best to temper that when it comes to elections. So if you notice me over here turning blue the next week and a half, do not fear. It's not that I'm reverting to my liberal roots. I'm just waiting to exhale.
Susie Moore is Deputy Managing Editor for RedState.com. For more to the point and everything Susie Moore, log on to RedState.com. Follow Susie on Twitter at SmoozyQ and keep listening to 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Free speech is alive and well in America.
Sometimes it's hard to know what's real and what isn't.
Right here.
The country is heading in the wrong direction under this president.
We're suffering shortages. America's running out of everything.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the Morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com.
America's talking to Fox News.
Halloween is just around the corner. What will you dress up as? And what is your favorite thing about spooky season?
I need trick or treat for candy. I have a sauce. And me, Jaffiel, a pirate.
Bob Ross. I love to paint. I painted oceans, clouds, trees before. The only thing I love about trick or treating is you get to see other people's costumes, all the decorations of the scary movies.
I like the candy.
Could be Steve from Blue's Clues.
Usually we go to a cousin's house and the neighborhood, we go trick-or-treating. She's not sure what she wants to do.
I'm going to be a snake.
I'm an Among Us imposter.
I'm going to be trick-or-treating this year. I'm going to be a princess.
So my favorite character is Dustin, and I really like the season 3 costume. I decided to dress up as him.
We're just going to walk around to see the houses. We're not going to actually trick-or-treat.
Hermione Granger from Harry Potter.
Happy Halloween!
America's talking to Fox News.
Wait a minute. You're going to walk around and not take candy?
Take the candy.
Come on.
People are just passing candy out. You're just going to walk right by it.
Yeah.
Who is this kid?
Jeez. It is coming up on 622. I'm Mike Ferguson. You got Paul Kurtman in for the ailing Gabe Pfeiffer, and Ken Williams is here as well. We're going to get to this Twitter change of hands in just a moment. But right now we got Rebecca here who's got some thoughts on that new information that we've got regarding the school shooting in St. Louis. Hey, Rebecca, you are on News Talk STL.
Hi, I'm from Southeast Missouri where guns are just normal. But here's the thing, is that you can kill somebody with a rock, a machete, a bomb. You can kill someone with a baseball bat, because there's a guy in St. Louis that I know that some 20 years ago, some people took a baseball bat to him. He did not die, but he has a hole in his head. So violence has nothing to do with what you use as your weapon.
Yeah, I mean, in England, they have knife control laws. You know, that obviously don't work there either.
Yeah, because there was a rash of machetes, weren't there?
Yeah, well, yeah. And but yeah, Rebecca, to the point you're making is that, yeah, the reaction from one side is we need to address the inanimate objects, and to do that, you have to control people. And those of us who are more constitutional and human freedom oriented saying, no, we need to deal with the people and the situation surrounding people in there. So yeah, I think you're right, Rebecca. Appreciate you being on the program.
Hi, bye.
Thanks, Rebecca.
All right. Let's look over to Twitter. This is massive. I know that a lot of people are like, yeah, it's social media, so you're putting your memes up or whatever. No. This is really, really massive. It is absolutely official. It is a done deal. Sean Langell reports on Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter.
Musk has already fired Twitter's CEO and chief financial officer. He also told advertisers he doesn't want the social media platform to be a free-for-all hellscape. Musk said he's buying the San Francisco company because he believes it's important to the future of civilization to have a common digital town square. Sean Langell, Fox News.
Is that hyperbole? Future of civilization?
I don't know.
I got to tell you, I use Twitter a lot. I always have, and I've been thrown off permanently once and then threatened on a couple of occasions. And I can tell you that This is a big deal because for too long, people in one segment of the population, half of the population almost, I would say arguably half, are being, controlled basically. I mean, whenever the hierarchy of Twitter decided that they wanted them to say something or not say something, they controlled it. And now they're not going to be able to have that opportunity. I was poking the bear a little bit last night, and I posted just a red bird. The
Twitter logo?
Yeah, the Twitter logo in red, and somebody goes, that's not going to happen. I said, I'm just stirring the pot a little bit. That's all I'm doing.
I think that this is a great thing for discourse. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, the whole reason that there have been all these spin-off platforms is because people have been looking for a place to go where they're not going to be blocked. Right. And when you do that, all you're doing is you're creating more tribes and more camps. I mean, as they have always said, the answer to speech we don't like is not canceling speech, it's more speech. So give people an opportunity where they can come together, have these threads be as long as people want it, but let it all happen in what Elon Musk refers to as kind of the new town hall of Twitter. And I think it's going to be a good thing, ultimately. Yeah. I like to see Donald Trump and Babylon Bee get their accounts back.
Yes. Yeah, the market is speaking. I mean, clearly there's a massive demand. If you ask me, probably too much demand. I still see people walking into polls on the street and stuff like that, staring at their phones. But you've got Getter. You mentioned Getter a little bit earlier. Obviously, you've got clearly Facebook for those who are still on Facebook. We are at NewstalkSTL. Be sure to like it. And you've got True Social, and you've got Parler, which is a mess. But you've got other areas. I'm sure there are some on the left as well. So there's plenty of a demand. But to your point about tribes, that's exactly what was happening. Is once one side is silenced, threatened, declared that your thoughts are not allowed. Your thoughts are the aberration, and we are going to control it. Well, what happens is people just simply divide out into their echo chambers. So can Twitter actually be the place where everybody is allowed to say what they want? And I'm telling you right off the bat, I have a feeling it's probably going to get pretty ugly as people enjoy their newfound freedom on the social media platform. And then I think things will settle into it.
But I also think that Elon stands to make a lot more money because the fact that nobody's being pushed out, people are drawn to the debates. They're drawn in. And so this is, I think, going to make the platform even bigger because you're just going to, you're casting a net over a much wider portion of the U.S. or of the world. And as that net gets wider and captures more people who want to engage, this is where advertisers are going to want to go.
Okay, so let me ask you guys this then. So other than saying, I mean, Elon Musk isn't just going to go kick his feet up on a desk and go, okay, free for all, everybody say what you want to say. How does he make it a more marketable product?
I think that he absolutely has regulations.
Yeah.
He's a free speech absolutist, but he'll have regulations that clearly will say you cannot actually have calls for violence. I wouldn't be surprised if under Elon Musk's leadership you see people who have ideas, because he doesn't believe ideas are violence, right? But he does probably, I'm just guessing, I'm speculating here, if somebody's posting, hey, tell me where the Supreme Court justices' kids are,
yeah,
I think that he would say, no, we're not doing that.
And not only that, but Twitter's well known for having radicals in the Middle East having platforms and then throwing our president off. So I think having that new balance is a good thing. But I want to push back a little bit on this whole idea that, now it's going to become the wild, wild west. Before, the left could say whatever they want. That the left they're already saying whatever they want. Now the right gets to say whatever they want, I guess, or some balance thereof. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be the wild, wild west, I guess, but for both people now, because it's always been that way for the left. The left has gone on. I've seen some of the most disgusting, vile things said that they were not blocked on. But what I was thrown off of Twitter originally for permanently, because I said heels up Harris. Those 3 words got me banned completely just after the election in 2020.
And you know what? That's not violence. That's not even bullying.
I said it on the radio. The things that I see on Twitter make that seem like, what are you talking about? So what?
Here's what I say. I think that once conservatives are back and knowing that they're not going to get thrown off, That's why I say I think it's going to be a massive free-for-all. Then it's going to settle into whatever the normal is. But, people basically saying, hey, I can. You haven't let me do this. Here's what I would do if I were Elon Musk and you suddenly have this. I would put a massive amount of effort into tracking and eliminating the fake accounts.
Big time.
That, to me, is how you make it the most marketable possible.
I also wonder if he's going to publish the algorithms that Twitter used to have. I would be interested in knowing what was really going on at Twitter.
Well, I'm still being throttled.
He owns them. I mean, so he can. It's maybe proprietary, but he owns it. He can put it out there if he wants.
He is renowned for not having patents on things. Because he wants the market to move and progress technology and innovation. He's okay with people. I'm wondering if he's going to publish, here's the algorithms we are going to be using. I'm just wondering how transparent he's going to be. He'll obviously be more transparent than the last Twitter regime was, but I'm just interested. I'm really fascinated about where he's going to take this.
The only thing about that one in particular, though, is you think he would be hesitant because of all the other upstarts that might want to try and do the same exact thing that he's doing?
I think he'd be okay with it.
Yeah, I think he would too. Yeah. In some weird way, it'll work.
Yeah.
State Representative Nick Schroer joins us at about 6:35 right here on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL. Some of his legislation now being criticized in the media and by politicians who say, see, I told you so. I think they get it wrong. We'll get Nick's take on it just ahead right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning, made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
We need change in our country right now.
Live and local.
They clubbed us over the head for 2 years.
Yep. You want corruption? This is how we get corruption.
This is News Talk STL.
From the News Talk STL newsroom, I'm Joey Vasevich. Flood recovery assistance is available at 2 FEMA disaster recovery centers in the Metro East starting today. Those centers will be located at the Clyde Jordan Senior Citizen Center in East St. Louis and the Caseyville Village Hall. Governor Parson paid a visit to St. Louis on Thursday to thank the heroes who rushed into the South St. Louis High School to protect students and teachers from the gunman. At a closed meeting at the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department headquarters, Parson thanked the men and women in uniform for their bravery. Ameren says its customers could see an average of 4.5% off their energy bills per year because of the newly passed Federal Inflation Reduction Act. The savings are predicted to be $4.50 per month for an average residential customer, although that depends on future rate reviews and when planned projects go into service. An 83-year-old St. Louis County woman appeared in federal court Wednesday to admit to participating in several romance and work-at-home scams. Between September of 2020 and May of 2021, the woman received deliveries of more than $690,000 from people she didn't know through the mail. That money had been sent from victims who believed they were assisting their online lovers or had been hired to work from home. And in sports, the Blues fell to the Predators 6-2 in Nashville last night for their 3rd loss in a row. Next up, the Blues welcome the Canadiens to Enterprise on Saturday night. Puck drop is at 6 p.m. For in-depth coverage of these stories and more, go to NewstalkSTL.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. 270 southbound at Tesson Ferry, there's an accident blocking the right shoulder. 270 northbound from 55 to McDonald, traffic's running about 21 minutes. Westbound 270 from 5570 in Illinois to McDonald, you're looking at a 23-minute commute. 70 westbound from Broadway to 270, traffic's running 15 minutes. And from 270 to Wentzville Parkway, you're looking at an additional 21-minute commute. Blindster.com was started in 2010 to provide custom blinds, shades, and shutters at affordable prices. Their blinds are easy to install and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive professional. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com. I'm Kat from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Skies becoming sunny today. Another mild day with a high of 64 degrees under those sunny skies. The winds will be light out of the northeast and it stays dry today, tonight, and tomorrow. 44 degrees on Saturday morning, the high 65, but clouding up a little bit. And some rain moving in Saturday night into Sunday. The high on Sunday near 61 degrees. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Are you the type of person who loves their community and wants it to be the best it can be? Now it's easier than ever to do your part. Go to recyclemode.com to see just how easy it is to recycle the right way. Or if you already recycle and want to be as efficient as possible, recyclemode.com can tell you what should and should not be recycled in your area. Become part of the clean recycling movement today. It's the right thing to do. Sponsored by the Missouri Department of Natural Resources.
All right, we're heading into the holiday season, and for a lot of people, the end of the year also means big financial changes, and for some people, that means downsizing, upsizing, or just making those investments into possibly an investment property. Regardless of what you're doing, do not be scared off by what you see on all of the cable business networks and all that sort of thing. This might be the right time for you to buy or sell a house, despite what you're seeing in the news. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but Rodney and Jen will give you a straight answer. That's why you should call them today. 314-810-SOLD. I'm going to say that number a couple more times, so get ready to write that down. Mike Ferguson here for the Wallner Home Selling Team with Berkshire Hathaway. In these crazy times right now, the best asset you can have when making a real estate decision is people you can trust, institutional knowledge, market knowledge, and an honesty and a passion for fighting for your family, especially during a difficult economy. So 314-810-SOLD. This might be the time, depending on what you need to do, to take advantage of some market opportunities. And if you're selling a home or you're selling a property, listen, they've got so many pre-approved buyers. They guarantee that you are going to get an offer. Yes, even in this economy. Looking to buy, you looking to move? Okay, well, then you really need Rodney and Jen fighting to get you the best dollar-for-dollar deal. You talk to them for just a couple of minutes, and you're going to realize there is a big difference with Rodney and Jen Wallner. 314-810-SOLD. Call them today, 314-810-SOLD.
Start a podcast for your business today with Epic STL Podcasts. Engage existing and potential customers, build trust in your brand, and drive traffic to your business. Log on to NewstalkSTL.com and click on the Epic STL Podcast button to learn more.
This is News Talk STL. News, analysis, and opinion from the voices you know and trust. News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and NewstalkSTL.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com.
Okay, in about 13 minutes, there was actually a criminal conviction for a fairly low-level crime, so it didn't really make the headlines, but once I looked into it, I think this is one of the dumbest criminal cases I've ever seen in my entire life. Full-grown adults getting into a fight over something focused on children. So 6:50, I'll tell you what that actually is. I'm Mike Ferguson. It is 6:38. Paul Kurtman in for Gabe Pfeiffer today. Ken Williams here as well. Hey, Nick Schroer, call us. He's not picking up his phone.
I tried 3 times, Nick.
We'll get him. We'll get him on the line here in a second. By the way, you can catch Nick's show. Go to NewstalkSTL.com. Stand and Fight with Nick Schroer airs. I believe that one airs on Sundays. I believe.
Yeah, and he gets fired up when you say "stand and fight."
Yeah.
He just goes, "Yeah, stand and fight."
That's right. We've actually got a great lineup of weekend shows. Obviously, Paul, your show airs Saturdays at noon every weekend here on News Talk STL. Tonight, Pocket Watching with JT.
Yeah,
that is actually that has actually started off with a really fast growth. I mean, people have really taken to that show. So JT does a great job with that. So yeah, don't think that we turn off being News Talk STL on the weekends. Check it out. Just keep it on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. There's a lot of
where
good
some
shows.
Radio stations will.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah,
we
without
don't.
a doubt. Yeah. I mean, there are some really good advice shows. Stiefel's On the Money show does. It's been on the air for a long time. Get some great advice on that. We've actually added a new one. Definitely Holly as well.
Yes,
and she does whatever she definitely does on the show.
Definitely. So on the weekends, you're saying if somebody was out raking leaves this time of year, they could just put in their earpods. So they're called earpods. I don't use them. I like the cords.
That's
They can continue to listen.
I like the ambient volume. I don't even use headphones. When I'm in my backyard doing leaves, I take the speakers out and I'm like, here we go.
Really?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Man, okay.
But
I should do that. It's kind of old school. Everyone's walking around with these earpods, and I'm afraid I'm going to lose them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, in the leaves.
Yeah, then you ain't getting those things back. There's no.
What do you do? Like if you get those and like you just have like your ears are really big, would they fall out? I've never used them before, but I'd be afraid that they would just fall out.
I'm sure they probably have like those silicone type of adjustable, like big, large and small pieces that they put on the attachments.
That's just why I stick with the cord. I feel safer.
Sure.
That's right. Duct tape.
Duct tape. Right over your ears.
That's right, over the ears. All right, well, what I was going to ask Nick about, and let me, Paul, since you've got experience in the state legislature here, a couple of aspects, things that the state legislature can do. We're going back to this question over the school shooting because there's almost a frustration I am sensing on the left that the gun control laws failed to stop. I mean, basically everything we've been saying for years and years and years, you went through all the laws out there that you want. If somebody's intent on murdering, they're going to find a way to try to do it. So let's talk about school security. State legislature generally doesn't have the ability to tell local school districts how they have to do security. Correct?
Well, they do. The legislature can do that, but usually what we do is we defer to the local school districts, and we tell the local school districts. A lot of people, I remember when I was in the legislature, there was a big push by conservatives to say, hey, we need to allow for teachers to be armed in schools. Well, it turns out that the state laws already permit school districts to implement their own policies if they want to have armed personnel in the school beyond like a resource officer, for example. So we like to defer to the school districts, let them do whatever they want to do in terms of their security. They know a lot. I tell you what, a school district down in Joplin knows a lot more about their school and what their security needs are than I do living in Washington, Missouri. So that's why we like to defer to the school districts. But we do have a law that, we have a sunshine law that says any information you basically want about government. What the state legislature has done is we've said school districts are not required to release, even through the sunshine law, their own security measures. So I found out that people were saying, well, how'd this guy get in the school? And the police were like, we're not going to release that information. And I think that that's a good thing to do, for the state to say, hey, school districts don't have to tell people what their security programs or measures are because they don't want to give shooters a way to find loopholes around that.
But it is public knowledge that the St. Louis Public School District has a policy of not stationing armed security at their school districts. That's their policy. That's their rules.
Yeah.
They do have armed security guards, as I mentioned the other day, but they're in patrol cars and they respond. But the school itself has security guards, but by their rules, by their policies, they are not armed, and that is something that is an absolute legitimate topic. Now, the school district may say, we're going to find a different way to do things. Okay, but at least we can keep the focus on, okay, let's assess what happened. And the bottom line is the answer could very well be an evil madman committed an evil act, and the best we can do is respond.
That's the most likely scenario. I mean, we can't play Minority Report. Tom Cruise isn't out there with what
we talked about that yesterday.
Yeah, you don't have somebody out there finding pre-crimes. That's what the left would like to do. That's why they are so into watch lists and everything. But at the end of the day, somebody committed a crime. And if the left was really concerned, the justice system ought to be the justice system. And when somebody has had an injustice committed against them because their family members have been killed, well, then the law and the courts need to get involved. We need to punish people, not say, oh, it was this person, for whatever reason, mental health. Even if it's mental health, it's still a crime.
Correct. Yeah, and that we can't let that be an excuse. And there's got to be I can't imagine the hurt, not just with the family of the people who were murdered, but all accounts so far say this shooter's family was desperately calling and asking for help over and over, to the point where they even at one point had him committed involuntarily. I don't know for how long. And so it sounds to me like you've got a family that was jumping up and down and saying, this is dangerous. Somebody help us with this guy. And so I don't want to, a lot of times we jump on the families, well, you created this. Well, no, not always. And it sounds like this family was trying to sound the alarm. And that's where a lot of the narrative now is shifting to saying, well, because of these laws, the police couldn't come in and take away the gun, and we don't have red flag. And they just say, because of an absence of laws, this happened because of an absence of laws. And that is so intellectually dishonest.
This kind of thing happens because bad people will find a way to do bad things. Japan, you can't own a gun in Japan. But in 2016, a guy went on a killing spree. He found a target-rich environment, as we would call it in the Marine Corps. He went into a home with a bunch of elderly people where they were all kind of stationary, went in with a knife and killed over 13 people.
Yeah. I just think that, the simplest answer for me personally, my opinion, is to put armed people in the schools, in each school, and have them regularly trained. I'm not saying just give them some guns and let them go. I'm saying there are people, I'm sure there are people in every single public school right now that are actually probably gun owners that say, you know what, I'd love to carry and protect my kids, but I can't right now because this is the policy of the district.
Well, then you got these people in schools that, the schools are being overrun also with these far left people who are trying to indoctrinate your kids. So now in 2022, I'm like, well, look at the other side. I don't know if I want a teacher who won't have the American flag, but then has all these transgender and is trying to privately counsel our kids to convince them that they're really transgendered. I don't know if I want those people carrying guns in the classroom. Yeah.
All right. We doing the caller?
We got Dave.
We got Dave. Hey, Dave, I got to get to a break here real quick, but you're on the air.
Hey, you know what? That lady you had on, that sergeant, wow, she's spot on. She had a set. She told the truth. Get resources officers back in the school, okay? Get them back in the school. I know from my experience with my kids, those resource officers knew every single child, their personality, their tics, what was wrong with them, what was right with them. She was spot on. The response by everybody, Ken, you're correct. If you're going to have security officers, get guns in there. As Larry the Cable Guy said, like wiping your hiney before you poop. Doesn't make any sense.
And put signs up on the wall saying that we have these guns in here, and that would divert them. If I was a shooter and I was walking up to a building with that saying that you could be killed if you come in here with an arm, come in your arm to hurt our kids, I think I would not do it, or at least unless I was suicide wanting.
We need to throw all this softness out. You guys are there already. We need to throw all this softness out. Exactly what you said, Ken. If you come in here, you may go out dead with a gun.
Yeah.
But great job to everybody. The guest you had on was phenomenal.
Hey, thanks, Dave.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, that was Sergeant Betsy Smith from the National Police Association. If you want to hear that conversation, go to the News Talk STL podcast, and you can find that right now. Matter of fact, while you're there, be sure to subscribe to it so you'll get the alerts when all these conversations are coming available. All right, let's talk about crime and justice in St. Louis County. Adults got into actual fistfights over imaginary cartoon characters.
Is there any other reason to get in a fist fight?
No.
I can't wait for this.
Yeah.
I'm just a breath away, losing my faith today.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. For podcast articles and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. 70 eastbound at West Florissant. There's an accident blocking the 3 left lanes. Traffic is at a standstill as you approach Kings Highway. This is about a 12-minute delay. 270 northbound from 55 to McDonald. Traffic's running about 23 minutes this morning. 270 westbound from 55-70 in Illinois to McDonald. You're looking at a 24-minute commute. 40 from downtown to 270. Traffic's running 13 minutes. And from 270 to the Boone Bridge, it's an 11-minute commute. Blindster.com sells custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters that are easy to install at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are custom-made for your windows and are guaranteed to fit. Don't hire a pro, do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com. I'm Kat from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Friday, Susie Moore in for yours truly. She, Stell, and Chris Arps will have Zach Smith at 4:25. Aaron Hedlund of the Show Me Institute, 5:25.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 3:30 on News Talk STL.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is a locally owned and operated family business for more than 28 years, featuring exclusive products, unbeatable prices, and expert installation. You can choose from a wide variety of flooring options, including carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, natural stone, plus many other options. And you'll gain a peace of mind knowing that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's. You can shop in-store at one of their 3 convenient locations or shop from home online. Check out everything Michael's Flooring has to offer at igotfloored.com.
Are you looking for the cheapest prices on car insurance? Then call the Cheap Car Insurance Hotline right now. Hey, you're guaranteed to save money on your car insurance. Most car insurances can be canceled at any time. That means if you find a better deal, you can switch right away. We're not just one company. We offer most of the major brands of car insurance. We're like a discount supermarket for car insurance. And it doesn't matter if you have a good record or a bad driving record. Our agents are experts at finding you the right car insurance for your needs. Our average customer saves hundreds of dollars a year when they call us to switch. So why don't you make this 100% free call right now and see how much you can save on your car insurance. Paid for by AIS Insurance.
800-721-5741. 800-721-5741. 800-721-5741. That's 800-721-5741.
What happens next?
Democrats' reckless policies have stuck the American people with an inflation crisis, a border crisis, a violent crime crisis, and an energy crisis.
Happens right here.
We're going to get control of inflation.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the Morning. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com.
All right, over the next 30, 40 minutes, we're going to get your thoughts on Elon Musk now owning Twitter. How is that going to change? Also, right around 7:05, got a few things I want to cover. President Biden absolutely flat out lies once again regarding gas prices. Just bizarre. And then definitely I want to get a preview of what's coming up on your show on Saturday. So we'll include that at 7:05. I'm Mike Ferguson. It is 6:52 at the moment. Got Paul Kurtman in for Gabe Pfeiffer today. Ken Williams is here. Gabe ailing from terrible case. I'm sorry to break the news. It's leprosy, guys. I hate leprosy. No, he's got a bad cold and sinus infection.
Yeah,
is what he's got.
He came in that last day he was here, and he was a mess. He didn't feel good.
Yeah, and so he said that during the show. I'm like, yeah, I don't think he's going to be here tomorrow. No. So he's still healing up. So we'll hopefully get him back on Monday. Okay, a Missouri father and son, St. Louis area father and son, convicted of assault this week over a dispute related to a video game. Lisa Lacera from Fox News has the story.
A jury in St. Louis County, Missouri, convicting 75-year-old Robert Matuzzi and 33-year-old Angelo Matuzzi of third-degree assault in a dispute over Pokemon Go, an augmented reality video game where players walk around outside hunting for animated monsters on their phones. Prosecutors say the father and son were on one team, the victim on another in 2018, with both teams wanting to claim a site in the game where teams can compete for control. Authorities say Angelo Matuzzi and the victim scuffled and rolled into a lake when Robert Matuzzi jumped in, dunked the victim, and held him underwater while the younger Matuzzi punched him. Jurors recommended a sentence of 3 days in jail and a fine for the father and only a fine for the son. Lisa Lacera, Fox News.
Just reading off the bullet points and the facts in this case just gets dumber and dumber and dumber on this.
My only visual... I picture those guys dressed up in Pokemon gear, fighting and falling into the water.
Well, they said rolled into the lake and they were fighting, and then the one guy dunking the other one.
What's funny is the 75-year-old who dunked the other one had previously testified that he had worked as a lifeguard.
I know.
And then tried to drown this guy over, whatever, a Pikachu. I don't know what these characters
I don't know.
are.
And remember, these are literally just things that are virtually that you were. I don't know if this game is still around or not.
I think it is, actually.
Yeah, but literally they were fighting over not just a cartoon monster, but a virtual cartoon. Literally, it's only on your phone through a Wi-Fi, and they got into a physical fist fight over this.
And get this, they were fighting over virtual territory.
Wow.
Why couldn't it have been a virtual fight?
Yeah.
You know?
Why? Yeah. Oh,
Just
you're
a
done,
thumbs
man.
down.
You're done.
Just thumbs down me, you know?
That's right.
Like on social media.
I send you a fireball on my phone to your phone, and not a single child was involved with this. This is what's amazing to me. Nobody was a minor in this. 70 and 40 something. I mean,
This is the thing, when grown men decide that they're going to be infatuated with children's games, they will probably start acting like children.
Most likely. I mean, I like my video game. I got one video game I play.
But if you're a grown man and you decide like, hey, there's different kinds of video games, but like Pokemon Go,
no.
Okay, so
it's like a scavenger hunt
That's a
for
little
cartoon
kid,
characters.
for kids, yeah.
if somebody sinks your battleship, Ken, are you going to go beat them up?
No,
Okay.
no. They're going to say a few words to me, and I'm going to laugh because it is funny.
But still, I will say grown men being involved with something for small kids like this.
Yeah.
I think that you can see the depravity and devolution of grown men turning into children.
I say they should have dressed up. I just,
I wonder if they pay their own cell phone bills when they go play Pikachu, hunt, whatever, Pokemon Go.
I wonder if the guy who is 75, at some point between when this happened and he got his verdict this week, if he looks back in 75 years of life and says, oh, this is where I've come to. This is what my 75 years on this planet has resulted in.
Yeah. Could be well-read, well-traveled, instructing the younger generations. Nope, he's trying to drown a guy.
And, well, to be fair, that might have been a Squirtle for all we know.
Oh, what?
A Squirtle.
What's that?
That's the turtle one.
Oh,
that was my.
So you know actually the terms of these
my
things.
My kids were little when this came out, so I had.
Oh, you had to immerse yourself in it.
I had to endure these cartoons.
Yeah. Hey, doing it with your kids is one thing.
Yeah,
doing it with other grown men, that's a problem. I just think that's a problem. What's happening to men in America when this is what they spend their time and attention doing? It's not like hunting, like real hunting, where there's some skill and mastery involved.
Right. Yeah.
Cartoons.
They're literally walking around looking at invisible things.
Anime cartoons.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
I know I'm going to step on some toes there, but...
Oh, my daughter loves anime, but she's 19 years old now.
Yeah, if you're a 75-year-old man and you're infatuated with anime, cartoon, fuzzy characters...
I'm amazed that guy actually has a son. Let's just put it that way. This is 101.9 94.1 NewstalkSTL.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Senator Jim Talent.
We live in an age where saying common sense things is considered to be controversial or even revolutionary. Like, we need oil and gas. Yeah, I think we do. Or maybe we shouldn't shut down the schools. Maybe it's not a really great idea when troubled teenagers come in and just to rush to pump them full of drugs.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 3:30 on News Talk STL.
Packages start at $29.99 a month with signed agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News and World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-561-3405. 800-561-3405. 800-561-3405. That's 800-561-3405.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. A new day is dawning at Twitter. Elon Musk completing his $44 billion purchase of the social media giant, and some heads have already rolled.
Two people in the know say Elon Musk has taken over the company, firing the CEO, chief financial officer, and general counsel. The apparent takeover just hours before a deadline set by a Delaware judge to finalize the deal Friday. She had threatened to schedule a trial if no agreement had been reached. On Thursday, Musk stated the reason he acquired Twitter is because it is important to the future of civilization to have a common digital town square. He added that he fears social media will splinter into far right-wing and far left-wing echo chambers that generate more hate and divide our society. I'm Tim McGuire.
A deadly house fire in the Tulsa suburb of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, being investigated as a homicide. 8 bodies found in that burning house. Arizona agrees to hold off enforcement of an abortion ban.
Planned Parenthood said services would resume statewide, including at clinics in Metro Phoenix and in Flagstaff. Over the summer, Arizona's Republican Attorney General had asked a court to allow a law dating back to 1864 banning abortions to be enforced. That law carries a prison sentence of 2 to 5 years. Arizona's Attorney General has now agreed not to enforce the ban until after all appeals are final. That means abortions will remain legal until after 15 weeks gestation, at least until early January, and likely longer. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
The U.S. military warns North Korea the use of nuclear weapons will result in the end of that regime. The warning comes as the North fired off 2 more ballistic missiles into the sea. Watching Wall Street, the Dow futures down 6 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want straight talk, the facts about Orgovix.
Orgovix Relugolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact: Orgovix is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovix may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Tell your doctor right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovix can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovix treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin levels, increased liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovix may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with Orgovix. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. 70 eastbound at West Florissant. There's an accident blocking the 3 left lanes. Traffic is at a standstill as you approach Kings Highway. This is about a 12-minute delay. 270 northbound from 55 to McDonald. Traffic's running about 23 minutes this morning. 270 westbound from 55-70 in Illinois to McDonald. You're looking at a 24-minute commute. 40 from downtown to 270. Traffic's running 13 minutes. And from 270 to the Boone Bridge, it's an 11-minute commute. Blindster.com sells custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters that are easy to install at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are custom-made for your windows and are guaranteed to fit. Don't hire a pro, do it yourself, and save big at Blindster.com. I'm Kat from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Skies becoming sunny today. Another mild day with a high of 64 degrees under those sunny skies. The winds will be light out of the northeast and it stays dry today, tonight, and tomorrow. 44 degrees on Saturday morning, the high 65, but clouding up a little bit. And some rain moving in Saturday night into Sunday. The high on Sunday near 61 degrees. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-979-3060. 800-979-3060. 800-979-3060. That's 800-979-3060.
No big old corporate lib AM station telling us what to say here. Conservative talk for St. Louis. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com. Mike Ferguson.
You play ball like a girl!
Gabe Pfeiffer.
I triple dog dare ya!
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice, drain the swamp, and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
Compared to Paul Kurtman, I'm actually a good dancer.
You know, I was just going to say that.
I concur.
I agree.
Too. I remember the first time you were in here. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, if you go and watch us while we're streaming on Rumble or YouTube or Facebook, this has kind of turned into a thing. That particular open happens when the music plays and the Donald Trump impersonator does this thing. We kind of do these goofy little dances in the studio. And the first time that you got in there and absolutely no dancing, I'm like, oh, tell me you're Baptist without telling me you're Baptist. Baptist preacher's kid here.
Can't or won't. Me too.
Yep.
So, I do a little finger wag, and there we go, because that's about as far as I know how to go.
Yeah, because, if you go more than a finger, by definition, that could be dancing.
Yeah, and you can also say, I'm saying no.
From that perspective, do you guys realize how much in contrast I am with you then?
Yeah.
Because my parents would actually go out to see me play in Las Vegas and dance on the tables.
What?
Yes, my dad actually got up.
Tables?
My dad got up on the bar at one point.
Oh, your dad did? Okay.
No, my mom didn't. No, but my dad did. Yes. Yeah.
There you go. There's your Kofifi dance lesson for the day.
There it is.
One of these days, I'm going to come in and completely break it down.
Okay.
I want to be here when that
someday.
happens.
That's a challenge.
One of these days.
Just find that happy medium. I'm not saying you have to start twerking or anything. I'm just saying.
I'll tell you, that would make
Thanks for clarifying. I didn't want to go home and practice that.
twerking.
I mean, feel free, but
what a visual. Streaming.
You're welcome.
Paul Kurtman.
Oh, goodness. Other things that are ridiculous. I'm at this point, the left is gaslighting doesn't even I think encompass everything that's happening. Listen, the president's giving some remarks yesterday. Listen to what he says, bragging about the his economic results that he got. I'm not kidding. I did not make this up. These words actually came out of President Biden's mouth.
Today, the most common price of gas in America is $3.39, down from over $5 when I took office.
Okay, down from over $5 when he took office.
A lie.
Oh, geez. The national average price of gas when he took office was $2.39. It's actually averaged $3.76 per gallon nationally as of right now.
You can call it gaslighting, you can call it whatever you want. These are down out lies. This person that is our president does not say anything but a lie.
Here's really. Politicians in America today have become a parody of what we always thought politicians were. I mean, we've always said, our parents and grandparents, politicians, boy, these people lie. And, there's might be a little bit of truth, a little bit of spin, but these days, outright bold-faced lies. Gas was $5 a gallon when I took office. It was right about half that.
Yeah, not even half that.
And this is trackable. This is measurable.
Yeah.
We actually have these numbers in data. What is going on here? He in that same speech, boy, he had just a whole string of these kinds of lies.
But that's every day. And then his press secretary, she'll say the same thing. Oh, the economy? It's amazing. We've bounced back. We've come back. No, you haven't. Okay, you might have in D.C. in your office or whatever. My family hasn't come back.
The best case scenario, here's what's really sad and scary, is the best case scenario explanation for this is that he is so dementia-ridden that he actually didn't know what he was talking about. That's the best case scenario.
That's the best case.
The reality is that he just lied again, and that people are listening and they're going to repeat that to somebody else. No, I'm voting for him. He's brought the price of gas down from $5.
Yeah.
I am in the middle of reading this book called The Power of Habit. And in the very beginning, the author talks about how when you're creating, you kind of create a habit, right? And then it gets to the point that it's so ingrained that even if you lose your mind and you have dementia, a lot of times your habits stick around. And I see now we have a president who can't even find his way off of a stage. He can't find his way off the stage. He's shaking imaginary hands. But one thing that is so natural are these lies, these constant lies all the time. And not spin. This isn't just spin. No. This is just outright lies.
Is that coming up this weekend on your show?
Oh, we're going to talk about. Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about. I have a couple lies of the week from Hillary Clinton and 2 from Biden. Both of those relating to things that every family across America knows because we feel it in our pocketbook. One of them is the gas, but then he has another lie about net worth. I don't know if that's on your show sheet today.
No.
Oh, boy. We'll talk about it if you want, but boy, he has a doozy saying that Americans' net worth has increased and it's actually decreased.
He's argued what?
So
I heard this. Yeah,
my wife and I get reports on the financial accounts that we have.
So here's what he said in that same speech about gas. He says, "Quote: Families have more net worth today than they did before the pandemic. Not true. Net worth median." The median net worth and the average net worth have both gone down.
Yeah.
Substantially.
So here's another thing you guys can think about is that when they say things, they like to say things before that are now wrong. Okay, so they'll say something 2 years ago thinking that no one recorded them. And then they'll say something today that's completely opposite. I mean, completely the opposite. And then they say, oh, no, I never said that. Yeah. And then you go, well, here's the video. Well, that was a
different context. That's a highly edited video.
That was me before.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lie. It's just a lie.
Okay, let me bring this to a personal level. So when you're just talking with friends and family or whatever, how do you actually talk about politics and campaigns and economy, knowing how polarized we are? I mean, it's almost impossible to have just a simple conversation. One of my friends, we were having lunch weeks ago, and he was really fired up about one thing that I disagree with him on, and he had his facts wrong. And so I'm like, hey, man, well, actually, that's not what it does. It's this. And I'm just trying to I don't want to talk about it. But that's the problem is I don't even want to talk about it with my friends because I'm afraid it'll affect friendships on there. So how do you stand on principle and still have those, personal conversations because everybody is in such a defensive tribal position right now?
I don't have a lot of liberal friends, and a lot of that just has to do with I keep a small circle, but I do have friends. And I have had friends that are liberal or Democrat. And I always try to be incredibly gracious, right? Just give people a lot of room. I understand that people are on a journey, and there are people who are on the right today that just a few years ago were on the left. And that could be anybody at any given time. So I do try to be careful and not offensive, but I won't compromise what the truth is. If somebody's lying about something, I'll say this is absolutely 100% a lie. There are some cultural things that you kind of got to coax people along on.
Yeah, I've got a lot of family members on the left, and I've got quite a few friends on the left. And I had a thing in Herman this past weekend with someone who came up to me and knowing what I was going to say, but she just wanted to kind of prod me a little bit and leaned into me and said, "Hey, Ken, what do you think about J6? Really? What do you think about that?" I said, "It was a huge circus about President Trump." And she goes, "Oh, really? I didn't expect you to say that, Ken." I said, "Well, it's true." And then she wanted to get into a conversation until my wife across the table said, "He's not going to talk about that." And it ended.
One of the most freeing things that I've had over the years is getting into the mindset that it's not my job to change somebody's mind when I'm, breaking bread and having a burger with somebody. Or
Agree.
Something like that.
Totally agree.
It's just not my job. And there have been plenty of times like I'll go out with the guys after a baseball practice or a game, and I'm the radio guy, and hey, what do you think about this political thing? And my answer is I'm off duty, guys. I'm off the clock.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah, and there's a lot of conservatives in my baseball. If you're wondering where the conservatives are in St. Louis, they're playing adult baseballs where they are.
And I want to say just real quick, that person that talked to me this weekend, I love her. I just love her dearly, and she loves me. And she actually said that afterwards. But she had to reaffirm that because, it got a little contentious because I was not going to say, I was going to tell her exactly the way I feel, but my wife jumped in and said, he's not doing that anymore.
When I was in the legislature, one of the higher-ranking members of the Democrat Party was somebody that actually served in the Marine Corps with. And he's a Democrat, pretty liberal guy. But I introduced this bill, the Inflation Adjustment Act, and it amounted to a $24 million annual tax cut if inflation is 2% a year, which is the target. So first of all, everybody should be thanking me right now because our tax brackets are adjusting because of my legislation. But,
awesome.
But the Democrats, they would not have voted for it because they saw it as, hey, this is $24 million less state revenue. And what I said was, listen, let's think about it this way. This helps the poorest people in the state first, and it helps them the most. So it's kind of a bailout for the poorest people in the state. And then once I said that and kind of reframed it, gave them another angle to look at it, I got almost all but maybe 2 or 3 Democrats to vote for a tax cut.
Wow.
Just from adjusting our tax brackets for inflation.
Yeah. So the conversations are possible, just a lot of people don't want them is one of the problems.
It's a good way to say it. Yeah.
All right, just ahead here, you're going to be able to have that conversation any way you want on Twitter here pretty quick, like right now, because Elon's in charge. We'll talk about that in about 4 minutes here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL.
So soon that it is no more.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter.
Stop right now. I have had enough of this. Turn my eyes to your indifference. Stop right now before you blow us all away. You wanna do that? Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this is your curtain call. Get up, what are you waiting for? Get up.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
You want to give me more information
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Blindstar.com. 270 northbound before Gravois, there's a disabled vehicle blocking the right lane. Traffic is slowing as you approach Gravois, and all lanes are back open. 70 eastbound at West Florissant from an earlier crash. Traffic is still slow as you approach Bircher. The delay has went from 30 minutes to about 16 minutes now from that crash. And 70 westbound before Branch, there's construction work that has the right lane closed until about 2:30 this afternoon. And 55 northbound is slow Bates to Potomac for construction work that has the roadway reduced to 2 lanes. Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindstar.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters shipped directly to you at prices less than big box retailers. Blindstar blinds are easy to install and guaranteed to fit. Don't overpay for new blinds. Shop today and save big. Blindstar.com. I'm Kat from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
If you're on Medicare, listen to this message.
Open enrollment for all Medicare participants is now open until December 7th.
Hi, this is Mike Butts with MB Health Insurance Agency. And regardless if you are new or renewing your health insurance, the process can be confusing and very time consuming. MB Health is local here in St. Louis, and we will handle your enrollment quickly, properly, and effectively.
Call Mike Butts and his expert team at 314-544-5400
Or visit mbhealth.com.
Does your current bathroom need to be updated immediately? Introducing One Day Bath and Shower Remodeling, the complete and hassle-free way to get the new bathroom of your dreams in as little as 1 day and for as little as $199 a month. Yes, the experts at One Day Bath and Shower Remodeling will come to you anywhere in the country and show you all the customized options. Now you can have a brand new bathroom in as little as 1 day. Large or small bathrooms, if you want a new bathtub or shower installed, we can do it in as little as 1 day. And if you call right now, you can save $750 off your remodel. We make it easy by offering you financing as low as $199 per month. Call now to schedule your free in-home consultation.
855-672-1566. 855-672-1566. That's 855-672-1566.
A popular pasta chain may be in deep meatballs for their inflation fee upcharge. I'm Tommy Lahren. Find out next.
Democrats predicted an end to high inflation, but nothing has changed. In fact, food and housing prices are still going higher. Hi, this is Stephen K. Bannon, and I urge you to protect your savings from inflation by diversifying into a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, simply text the word SHELTER to 989898, and you'll get a free info kit on gold IRAs that will explain everything. Again, that's SHELTER to 989898. There's no obligation or purchase required.
Everything is more expensive in Biden's America, and that includes pasta. But did one Italian chain go too far? Romano's Macaroni Grill is being sued by a consumer attorney over what the lawsuit calls a deceptive $2 inflation fee. Since spring, the restaurant has been charging this fee due to higher cost of goods and services. The problem, according to the class action suit, is that fee was not disclosed in the restaurant, by servers, or on the menu. It only showed up as a menu item on customer receipts. The suit also alleges the fee was arbitrary and lacked merit, as if the charge was set willy-nilly. There's no doubt restaurants are in a pinch thanks to Biden's economic policies. Heck, we're all feeling the Brandon effect. The question is, do businesses have the right to pass the buck? And is it fair to consumers who are already struggling to afford a casual dinner out? Either way, the buck should stop at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I'm Tommy Lahren.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
I think they're trying to attack the American people.
Live and local.
Gabe, Mike, Ken, you guys are my morning cup of mental coffee. I love the show. Definitely a convert from the old one.
This is News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
October 31st, vote no on Halloween. Halloween supports dangerous roving gangs of children going door to door to get their fix. When it comes to healthcare, Halloween doesn't care. Under Halloween, tooth decay rates have doubled and instances of child obesity have skyrocketed. Halloween is deceptive. Sure, it may look like a sexy firefighter, but don't count on Halloween if your house is burning down. And Halloween is not a legal holiday. If Halloween had its choice, it would allow for more illegal holidays to invade and take over your calendar. Don't be tricked. Halloween is no treat. This October 31st, vote no on Halloween. Paid for by Thanksgiving.
I like that.
You're welcome. Okay, before we talk about the Twitter thing, Halloween costumes. You guys doing it? Yes, no?
No.
No.
No. Yeah.
No, I mean, we go to my brother's house, they close off the street, and we put up a bonfire in the front yard and give away candy.
Yeah.
And have a beer, maybe.
I think that we're putting the fire pit, lighting up the fire pit, and my wife and our next door neighbor are having kind of invite all the trick-or-treaters to come to the house, and I will be there to probably just clean up messes and pick up candy wrappers.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it is official. Multitude of, not even report. We just know what's happened. Elon Musk firmly in control of Twitter. He is the owner now. The deal is done. That concludes months of legal wrangling. Fox News' Eben Brown has the story.
Billionaire inventor and tech mogul Elon Musk famously offered to buy Twitter for $44 billion, though he wound up in a court battle claiming Twitter's executives lied about the rate of automated accounts, or bots, the network is plagued with, saying the value is lowered by them. But a judge gave Musk until today to complete the transaction. Musk's own Twitter account now refers to himself as Chief Twit. Musk's purchase of Twitter had been criticized by some, including Twitter's own employees, over belief he plans to loosen content moderation and unban users. Eben Brown, Fox News.
So he's looking at imposing a massive culture change that it desperately needs. Of course, some reports are saying he's going to fire 75% of the employees. I don't know if that's true or not, but he's already fired some of the top executives, including the people that were hunting for conservative accounts and getting rid of them. And it's been interesting looking at some of the retweets of Twitter employees who are whining pathetically, such entitlement, which is what caused their problem in the first place. Some people not recognizing, first of all, what private sector, property rights are, but others angry as can be that he's going to, impose free speech on the world.
Yeah, people are angry that their political opposition or people who think differently are actually going to be able to be free to talk about their ideas.
I'm not even sure if it's so much the left is not so angry about individual accounts, but when you have things, do you remember the thing when the New York Post had that big story about Hunter Biden's laptop? Yeah. And they started posting, and it went like wildfire on Twitter for a moment. And then it was shut down as disinformation. To me personally, that's the big thing. That's the big takeaway from this whole thing with Twitter. These things that are going to happen, and this isn't the last time this is going to happen. Wait till we start having investigations after November. Then there are going to be posts about actual facts about what's going on, and that's what the left is so afraid of right now.
So do conservatives flood Twitter and come back, do you think?
I think so.
I think so too.
I think most of them never left. I mean, some probably did. You guys remember when people were like, I'm suspending my Facebook account. You can find me on Getter or True Social or whatever. And then just one of my observations, a lot of times they just come back anyway because they realize not everybody's over there and they want to come back where the party is.
Yeah.
They want to come back where they can share stuff.
I've seen a lot of people say, this is my last Facebook post. I've seen that and I'm going, yeah, it's probably not. I don't post that much on my personal Facebook account. Now, if you go to my American Viewpoints account or, NewstalkSTL, I'm putting something up once or twice a day. I'm not a prolific tweeter or Facebook or Getter or whatever the title is for that. So I don't get on there a lot. I actually really don't like social media because of the toxicity. But I think it's going to be fascinating to see what changes happen, not just on Twitter, but we are finding that unlike the Pokemon games we were just laughing about, this is something that happens in the digital world that has very real world effects. I mean, this is a big part of campaigns and culture and everything that goes with it.
I find Facebook's evolution really interesting because I started out as just loving it because, I mean, I kept in touch with family members and friends that I'd never dreamt of keeping in touch with. And then all of a sudden, I started to realize my modification was when I came here, I just used the station's account for these various things for the platform and everything. But I don't really even go to my page hardly ever anymore on Facebook.
You mean your personal one?
My personal
Yeah,
one.
me too. I mean, I get a lot of friend requests on Facebook. I mean, it just kind of comes with the territory when you work in the public eye. And I'm like, guys, you're going to be really, really bored if I take your friend request. It's better off to find me at Mike Ferguson Media on Facebook or News Talk STL or American Viewpoints. But my personal one, you're going to find out where I'm playing baseball that day, what the cat's doing, and when my wife does something cool, because she does stuff that's cool a lot more than I do stuff that's cool.
Well, we were talking about friends and family that are on the left. There are people that won't follow me on my account here. I have an account under the radio station name and my name as being a producer here. My personal account has none of that. It's just me and my family and all that stuff. And I've actually reached out to my friends on the old account and said, hey, join me over here. And like, nah, we're okay. I don't want to put that stuff on my Facebook account.
Yeah, I don't put hardly any political stuff on my personal one.
I do on my Facebook page. I got like 17,000 followers on my Facebook page that I've built up over years.
Yeah, but that's your public figure page.
That's the public figure page. And that is different than my personal page, which is, like you said, mine is also much more boring.
Yeah.
Much more boring. The political stuff is over there. And then I got my PR Cartman Investment Facebook page, and I do investment stuff over there. So it's kind of compartmentalized.
That's
a little
good.
bit.
You remember when Facebook first started, all of a sudden I started getting all these friend requests from like people I went to high school with in the 80s.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about them in decades. I'm like, I didn't like you back in the 80s. Why are you why are you
that's
sending
Mike
me a
Ferguson,
request?
everyone.
Yeah, why are you sending me a
He's
request?
just kidding, if you're listening.
He's shaking his head no.
shaking his head no.
No, but I agree with you. Yeah. I liked everybody, fortunately, that contacted me, but
I feel like I don't have enough energy. Like some people are always posting. And like I know like there's algorithms that'll shoot your post up as the more you post, the more engagement you get. But I feel like I don't, even on my public profile, I feel like I just don't have the energy to always
totally agree with you,
like
man.
people do.
Special course with me at Melville, we had a group there, and we were tight. And right now to this day, the whole cluster, the main nucleus of people are still together on Facebook, and I every once in a while converse with them, but I don't have the energy to do it all the time, and I like them. I mean, I'm glad from that perspective. I'm glad it worked out well. But
All right, just ahead here, the president says, "Hey, economy's in good shape. We had 2.6% growth, and inflation. Yeah, it's not really what you think it is." So let's talk to an economist, shall we?
Yeah.
We've got Peter Earle from the American Institute for Economic Research going to just give us some facts about what all this means. That's coming your way in about 4.5 minutes right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
For podcast articles and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com. We're going to win this campaign. The issues.
Gas prices, Biden inflation.
The election news, analysis, and opinion you won't get anywhere else. Decision 2022 happens.
There's a backlash coming
on News Talk STL.
From the News Talk STL newsroom, I'm Joey Vasevich. 6 guests and 1 employee at Silver Dollar City suffered minor injuries Wednesday evening after the steam train they were riding on tipped onto its side. A spokeswoman said ambulances from 4 different departments reported to the scene because they did not know how significant the derailment was, but none of the injuries were serious. A 37-year-old Western Illinois woman was charged Thursday for allegedly stealing $64,000 from a Madison County softball organization called E-Spirit Metro Fast Pitch between August of 2021 and March of 2022. The woman remains jailed on $80,000 bail. The Budweiser Brewhouse at Ballpark Village will become a Christmas-themed pop-up bar called Tinsel Tavern from November 25th through January 1st. Highlights will include floor-to-ceiling holiday decor, themed menus, and photo ops. Local mixologist Meredith Berry, co-owner of Platypus on Manchester Avenue, will be competing on the new Netflix show Drink Masters, which premieres today. Drink Masters follows 12 mixologists from across North America as they compete for a $100,000 prize. And in sports, SLU honored Billiken Soccer Hall of Famer and longtime Herman Stadium PA announcer Bill McDermott by naming the press box at the stadium in his honor. McDermott has given SLU over 50 years of service that started when he was a player for the SLU national championship teams in 1967 and 1969. For in-depth coverage of these stories and more, go to NewstalkSTL.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Southbound Highway 109 near Woods Road, there's a report of an accident with a utility pole down in the area. 70 eastbound, all lanes are back open at West Florissant. No delays as you approach West Florissant. 70 westbound before Branch, construction work has the right lane closed until about 2 p.m. this afternoon. And all lanes are back open northbound 270 before Gravois from an earlier disabled vehicle. Blindster.com was started in 2010 to provide custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters at affordable prices. Their blinds are easy to install and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive professional. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com. I'm Kat from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Skies becoming sunny today. Another mild day with a high of 64 degrees under those sunny skies. The winds will be light out of the northeast and it stays dry today, tonight, and tomorrow. 44 degrees on Saturday morning, the high 65, but clouding up a little bit. And some rain moving in Saturday night into Sunday. The high on Sunday near 61 degrees. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Oh, Hank, what a wonderful spider web you have built for us. I love this fabulous space we have right here in the corner of the kitchen.
Thanks, Charlotte. I think I'll build us a vacation web in the coat closet. Oh no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They always kill the mood.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888. We'd love to help you out. Learn more about our special $67 offer. You can visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
I've said it before. You need a proven conservative leader to represent Chesterfield and Jefferson City. Hello, I'm Ben Keithley, and I represented you on the Chesterfield City Council for 4 years. I was blessed to grow up in Chesterfield, and I pray my children will feel the same way. That's why I'm running. Better schools, safer neighborhoods, and smaller government. I'm Ben Keithley, and I'm asking for your vote for state representative.
Paid for by friends of Ben Keithley, Alan Keithley, Treasurer.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
The news and talk
North Korea launched an intercontinental ballistic missile
that matters to St. Louis.
Looters that were arrested are illegal aliens.
News, analysis, opinion.
The 2022 midterm elections.
101.9 and 94.1. News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com.
All right, 7:50. Have you seen some of these bizarre protests around the world that these loony leftists are doing now? It involves super glue and attacking art pieces and, fancy cars and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. So we're going to review the tactics being used on that right around 7:50. I'm Mike Ferguson. It is 7:37 right now. Got Paul Kurtman in for Gabe Pfeiffer. Ken Williams is here. If you have not subscribed to our podcast, what in the world are you waiting for, people? Every program you can go back if you miss it or want to hear it again, especially the interview segments. You're able to keep up to date on that and share it with people that you think might be interested in it. So be sure to go to News Talk STL or wherever your podcasts are and subscribe. Okay, the GDP numbers came out yesterday. Those came out, I guess, towards the very end of the show or so here. So we don't have a chance to look at those very deeply here. But the Labor Department actually says the GDP grew by 2.6% in the third quarter. Of course, the White House is celebrating that. Should he be celebrating that? Fox News' Jackie Heinrich has more from the White House.
The 2% was made up almost entirely by increased exports and government spending. And economists think that that will drop off in the fourth quarter. And also consumer spending is slowing down, and that constitutes up to 70% of the U.S. economy. So it is a warning sign there. And the White House is instead highlighting a bright spot in that report. The president saying in a statement, today's data shows that in the third quarter, Americans' incomes were up and price increases in the economy came down.
By the way, according to the Energy Information Administration, we now have an estimated 25 days worth of diesel supply left in the United States. You think that might have an effect on the economy at some point as we head into winter in the next quarter?
Oh, yeah.
Joining us right now is Peter Earle. He's an economist with the American Institute for Economic Research. And Peter, appreciate you being on the program. I'm kind of frustrated in that all of these reports, which are supposed to give us an objective look at how things have been and how they are right now, it's just kind of a battle of spinning. So when you see the GD report, and I'm going to ask you about inflation too, just to let you know, when you see that, what does that tell you from the perspective of an economist?
Good morning. So, I saw the number yesterday, and I was a little surprised. It looked a little higher than it should have been, I thought. But when you look below the surface, it's really not a great report. Yeah, it's positive, but as the previous clip indicated, most of that has to do with two things. It has to do with supply chains becoming less kinked up and moving more freely, and also a tremendous series of exports that we've made to Western Europe in terms of natural gas.
Good morning. This is Paul Kurtman. One of the things that we just heard in this news clip, though, was that a big part of it, at least this is what the news clip said, also had to deal with government spending. Is that true? And if that's true, what kind of government spending contributes to an increased GDP?
Yeah, so the second biggest component of the number after those exports was actually government spending, about 2.4% annualized, which actually government spending at the federal and state level had been decreasing for about 6 quarters, and it was up in the last quarter. And about 5% of that was defense spending. It was armaments and such being sent to the war in Ukraine. That was most of it. There was some non-defense spending, sales from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. So, yeah, I mean, like after exports and defense spending, mostly and government spending as a whole, there's really not much to be happy about in this GDP.
Good morning, Peter. This is Ken Williams. Can you tell us a little bit about your thoughts on what you can expect during the holiday season regarding consumer spending and how that's going to impact?
Sure. Well, I mean, so what we saw in this number is that while consumer spending was anticipated it would fall, it fell a little less than we expected, but it still fell, and that's the largest component of GDP. So with interest rates rising, which is going to affect people's credit cards and all that sort of thing, and just the cost of living rising, I think we may see a pretty soft holiday season in terms of gifts and other sorts of consumption that we have at that time of the year.
We are visiting with Peter Earle from the American Institute for Economic Research, and speaking of those interest rates, I also want to ask about inflation as well. The White House has taken an interesting approach to this, saying, "But look at all the rest of the world. This is a global thing, and this isn't really our thing. We should actually be really happy with where we are headed when it comes to inflation and personal wealth." And making the claim that personal what was the term? The net worth, I guess it was. They're actually up, which doesn't seem to be the case. So how do we sort through what is and what is just spin right now?
So when the president made that claim last week, I immediately took a look and I I acquired about 75, inflation information on 75 different economies in the world, and I found that the U.S. is actually 34th in the list, and that there are any number of economies that have inflation less than the U.S. right now. And they include, it's not only emerging markets, they include Australia, France, Canada, and others, and actually at least 10 have inflation that's less than half of what we have. So it's all spin, and for an administration that was going to set up a disinformation bureau, they don't really seem to be very preoccupied with truth itself.
Yeah. Now, when we talk about the inflation rates right now, obviously, I know that, for instance, student loan interest rates are now at 7%. This is affecting home interest rates. A lot of this tends to be a battle in the media of charts and graphs, but we're feeling it here. I mean, from a policy perspective, what is it that should be done in a perfect world to try to get a handle on this just from a cost of living perspective?
Well, I mean, the damage is done. I mean, most of the inflation we're seeing now derives not from billionaires or gas station owners or anything like that. It has to do with the hangover of the expansionary monetary policy that was put in place during the COVID pandemic. So right now, the best the administration could do would be to go out there and say, hey, listen, this was done for better or worse early in the pandemic. It might have been a mistake. If it was, we won't do it again. And if it is, we have to ride this out, raise interest rates, bring on a recession if we need to, and then build anew. But that's the last thing that you're going to hear from politicians, really.
Peter, I got a question about this whole definition of what a recession actually is. I know that historically speaking, we've always looked at 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP. People would say we're in a recession. President Biden has tried to say, well, there's a lot of other variables involved. Well, now if the GDP is showing a positive number, is there still concern that we could be in a recession, or does that reset? Do we have to go back and look at 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth? It just seems a little bit more confusing. Where are we right now, and what could still happen?
Yeah, so like I said, below the surface of this positive number is mostly government activity. So, I mean, I don't view that as being in line with growth or increasing productivity. So, I mean, yeah, we use the definition of 2 consecutive quarters of shrinking GDP growth, of shrinking GDP. And, I mean, here's the thing. We're going to have to watch things like unemployment. We're going to have to watch things like consumer spending to see how that develops. But I don't think you're necessarily out of a recession because you happen to get one positive quarter, especially if what makes up the meat of that number is government spending. Of course, that's a lot of this is going to come down to ideology and what side of the aisle people fall on.
When you look ahead here in the next, whether it's short term or long term, what should we be bracing for just in our everyday lives?
So it looks right now, of course I'm not going to make a call, but it looks right now like the inflationary updraft is slowing. But I mean, it's one thing to stop it from rising. It's another thing to get it back down to the 1.5–2% level that the Fed wants to. And so, I mean, if they are partially successful and get it down to 4%, that's still double what it was for years. So I think a lot of people are going to have to make adjustments in their spending, in the things that they can afford, and I think that's going to be a change. I think the long, great moderation of 2 or 3 decades is coming to a close. We might have to get used to 3, 4, 5% rates of inflation over the coming, who knows, years, decade, whatever it is.
So are we just being reminded that you can't spend your way into a problem and then spend your way out of it?
Absolutely. I think that's a concise way of putting it.
All right, Peter Earle from the American Institute for Economic Research. You do a lot of writing and research on there. How do people follow what you're doing or get in touch?
Well, on the AIR.org website, I have a page, as I'll do all of our researchers, and I'm also on Twitter at Peter_C_Earle, E-A-R-L-E.
All right, Peter. Hey, appreciate the insight. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, 314-912-1019. Just ahead, man, some of these leftist protesters, have you seen some of this video? They are doing some really loony protesting that seems to be catching on around the country, and it involves super glue. I know how I would handle it. I want to know how you guys would handle it. Let's talk about it around 7:50 on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 941, 991 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. 40 westbound downtown at 20th Street. There is an accident blocking the left and the right lane. Only the center lane is getting through. Traffic is backed up as you approach the Poplar Street Bridge. Expect about a 15-minute delay at the moment. 70 westbound before Branch. Construction work has the right lane closed until about 2 p.m. this afternoon. And southbound Highway 109 near Woods Road. There's a report of an accident with utility pull down. Blindster.com sells custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters that are easy to install at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are custom-made for your windows and are guaranteed to fit. Don't hire a pro, do it yourself, and save big at Blindster.com. I'm Kat from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Friday at 9:41, we will talk to Missouri Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft. Okay, he came in and paid a visit last week. He's not going to come in 2 weeks in a row, but we do get to talk to him.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
We tried Dynovite nutritional supplement, and after a couple of weeks, we noticed a big difference. Our little Gizmo's coat was shinier, and there was a lot less scratching and shedding.
My dog smelled and scratched constantly. We bathed and sprayed her, took her to the vet, but no results. Now, a little Dynovite in her food helps Bella keep her beautiful coat with no scratching or smell.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dynovite.
What if everything you thought and believed to be true about owning and buying your home turned out to be wrong?
Straightforward, objective advice on the right way to make the most out of every dollar you put into your home.
We're the only country that has one of those. Most other countries, considering like Canada, the UK, they don't have long-term fixed-rate mortgages like that. They're all variable-rate mortgages.
HomeWise with Michael Midget, Sunday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL. Talk radio made in St. Louis for St. Louis. This is News Talk STL.
Our responsibility.
News, analysis, and opinion.
To provide updated guidance.
At 1019, 941, and NewstalkSTL.com. News, analysis, opinion. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
All right, 8:05. We've got new information regarding the history that went into the murderous shooting at the St. Louis High School, the Visual and Performing Arts High School, on Monday. And yeah, it means that some of the narrative is falling apart on the other side, but we're just going to focus on what actually is the truth and go from there. So we'll have that conversation 8:05, 8:35. And this one's actually kind of personal and near and dear to me. There's actually a comedy show tomorrow that's going to happen in St. Charles, but it's an unusual comic. And it is going to benefit the Burns Recovered Support Group, which works with children who have survived third-degree burns and supports their families. And so you want to know about that? I think they've actually got some comedy show tickets still available. So we'll tell you how to get those right around 8:35. That was going to be a lot of fun. I'm Mike Ferguson. It is not quite 7:52. Got Paul Kurtman in for Gabe today. Ken Williams here as well. Have you seen the latest tactic that's happening with some of these leftist, like loony anti-oil protesters?
I've seen it.
Okay, so somebody threw a can of soup on, was it a Monet or a Da Vinci or one of those?
Monet, recently.
Yeah, or they threw it, and apparently not realizing that the museums have the forethought to put glass over the actual painting. But they decided their attempt was to destroy, a priceless work of art in a museum. And then now they're busting out like super glue, like Gorilla Glue, and sticking their hand to a wall or a floor or something. And then they start shouting something about oil and all that kind of stuff. Matter of fact, there was one that happened in Germany at the Autostad facility in Germany, which is a Volkswagen dealership, and a bunch of these nutcases went in and glued their hands to the floor and making their protest. Now, I don't know what they think the car salesman's going to do about oil or what they think the museum is going to do about oil. To date, we're still needing oil and using oil. But what do you make of this tactic now, and how would you handle it? Because apparently the super glue, it actually glues you. It's like the real deal. It actually glues you to it. So I don't know what they think they're doing, but I will tell you, at the dealership in Germany, they just left them there and they went, "Oh, okay, you want to protest? We're leaving." Shut off the heat, turned off the lights, locked the doors, walked out, and left them glued to the floor.
I would just start off by saying, this is going to hurt.
Yeah. See, that you said, what would I do? I would give it a few minutes, whatever it takes for it to really, really bond, and then say, time to go. Grab them by the arm or the collar, and I would yank them until it tears open and then throw them out.
And on the way out the door, I'd be like, has anybody seen my pet tarantula?
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, man.
But I would, if they're going to do that, I would let it bond and then rip them off of whatever they're glued themselves to. I don't understand why people aren't. I'm not advocating. I'm not saying go beat them up or anything, but I do think at some point responding to it violently is just morally acceptable.
Well, it's just so stupid and annoying to what they're going to annoy us into compliance now. And have you ever gotten super glue on your fingers?
Oh, yeah.
And to me, I hate the idea of having to pull my fingers apart because I know I'm going to lose a layer of skin.
Yes.
And that will sting for hours.
Yeah.
And these dummies just stick their super glue their whole hand to the, or also super glue their hand to the frame of the painting. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
This is going to hurt.
Yeah, it's going to hurt them.
Well, that's how I would warn them in advance.
See, I wouldn't. I'd just grab them and yank. To me, I would not even treat them as though they were deserving of any respect as human beings at that point. That's how I would look at it. I would just simply grab them and start pulling. And if they complain, you're hurting me, I'm like, well, that's your fault, dummy.
Why'd you put super glue on your hand?
Yeah, I guess you shouldn't have done that. Yeah.
At some point, you have to resort to that to stop them. Otherwise, they're going to continue. That's and on a much calmer level, when you deal with children, you stop them from behaviors that you don't want them to do, so they don't do it in the future.
But this is really just the stupidest, most annoying kind of virtue signaling. We're so much better than you. See, I have no doubt in my mind that people that pull stunts like this think that they're being persecuted.
Yeah.
Look what I'm having to do to save the planet.
The protesters at the Volkswagen thing in Germany, they were actually complaining that they didn't even leave us. We asked them to bring us buckets for bathroom and water. They wouldn't even allow us to have any of that. Can you believe these barbarians? I'm like, you're lucky that when you were glued there, they didn't just start taking target practice with their right cross and left hook and their roundhouse kicks because you couldn't go anywhere. You're lucky they didn't just do that. You're lucky they just simply said, "No, you're going to sit there all night until you rip your hand off the floor, and we're going to lock it up and turn the heat off."
You know what? Super glue the rest of them to the floor.
Yeah.
That might be a good thing to do. Just walk in and just pour some more super glue all around wherever it is they're sitting. Have you seen this lady that put super glue in her hair? She put Gorilla Glue in her hair.
Yes, I remember that story.
Remember?
I remember that.
I don't know why she did it, but she went through some pain.
Oh, yeah.
And a surgeon had to come along and surgically remove it,
Yeah.
So if they want to super glue themselves to your property, give them some super glue. You want some more super glue? Let me help you out here.
And I would suggest that maybe they use it as a badge of honor. The company I'm talking about, keep them there, and when they have new people come in, potential customers come in, say, look at our collection of left radical
unruly pets.
Unruly pets. Here, you want to buy a car? Sure.
I put this on
step
the
over
same,
that one.
This is kind of on the same level as trying to shut down streets, or the other kind of annoying stuff where they just want to inconvenience you. And I don't know how they pied the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
I don't know how that makes anybody say you're right. These artists from 400 years ago using oil paintings contributed so much to the demise of our climate. We need to stop painting.
There's got to be some oil products and glue, though, isn't there?
I'm sure.
Maybe, but
The
there
bottle.
has to be, yeah.
The bottle, right? If it's a plastic bottle.
I would think.
You mentioned blocking streets. You want to piss off people. There's some angry people when you block streets.
I love those videos of the people that just have had it and they get out and they just grab these people and yank them off the street and throw them to the side. That's what we need more of.
Yeah.
The dumbest one, though, is some vegan activist in a few places. Have you seen this? Going to grocery stores and they're grabbing milk and just emptying it and dumping it.
Or having funerals, funerals at the deli counter. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
I saw the milk thing, though.
Passing out roses, putting roses on all the packages of chicken.
Oh,
wow. Well, it's a little more delicious that way.
Are you tired of hard chlorinated water drying your skin out, tasting bad, and ruining your fixtures? Jones Air and Water Treatment has a solution to this pollution. Our Hydratech H2O leaves you with great tasting, soft water at all fixtures in your home with one unit. Call Jones Air and Water at 636-899-1040 or visit us on the web at joneswater.com. You can be a filter or buy a filter. Jones Air and Water, 636-899-1040 or joneswater.com on the web. Call us now.
Newstalk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. Doug and Safe Money Radio is on 3 times every weekend, but in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com or call 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Hi, I'm Jen Wallner.
And I'm Rodney Wallner with the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway.
Hey, Rodney, how do you sell your home for top dollar?
That's easy. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What if I want a flexible commission rate?
Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
When's the best time to sell your home?
Right now. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
For all your real estate needs, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
That's 314-810-SOLD.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. 11 days to Election Day, new survey has Republicans up by 4 points over Democrats on a generic congressional ballot.
49% of respondents say they would support Republicans versus just 45% for Democrats in the latest generic ballot survey from Suffolk University and USA Today. That's a big reversal from late July. The same survey showed 44% of respondents favoring Democrats against just 40% for Republicans. The numbers align with a trend toward waning enthusiasm for the Democrat messaging on abortion rights. That came during the summer months after the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. More recent surveys indicate abortion is mostly a back burner issue for most voters, with the economy and inflation the top concerns. Bob Agnew reporting.
Huge early voting turnout in Georgia, where there's a governor's race along with a high-profile U.S. Senate contest.
A record number of motivated and passionate voters are turning out here in Georgia ahead of the midterm election. More than 1 million people already casting ballots on the electronic Dominion machines, the same ones used in the 2020 presidential election. Now, the latest Real Clear Politics polling average shows Republican Governor Brian Kemp close to 7 points ahead of Democrat Stacey Abrams. Laura Winters, Atlanta.
A measure of inflation that's closely watched by the Fed remained painfully high last month. The Commerce Department this morning reports that prices rose 6.2% in September from 12 months earlier. It's the same year-over-year rate as in August. Didn't take Elon Musk very long to shake things up at Twitter after his $44 billion deal to buy the platform went through. The free speech advocate firing Twitter's CEO, its chief financial officer, and its chief counsel. Watching Wall Street, Dow futures are up 45 points, NASDAQ futures down 112 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold, the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Relief Factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. 40 westbound downtown at 20th Street. There is an accident blocking the left and the right lane. Only the center lane is getting through. Traffic is backed up as you approach the Poplar Street Bridge. Expect about a 15-minute delay at the moment. 70 westbound before Branch. Construction work has the right lane closed until about 2 p.m. this afternoon. And southbound Highway 109 near Woods Road. There's a report of an accident with a utility pole down. Blindster.com sells custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters that are easy to install at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are custom-made for your windows and are guaranteed to fit. Don't hire a pro, do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com. I'm Kat from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Skies becoming sunny today. Another mild day with a high of 64 degrees under those sunny skies. The winds will be light out of the northeast and it stays dry today, tonight, and tomorrow. 44 degrees on Saturday morning, the high 65, but clouding up a little bit. And some rain moving in Saturday night into Sunday. The high on Sunday near 61 degrees. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by House Sold Easy. Looking to sell a house fast? Call David today at 314-293-3000. That's David with House Sold Easy at 314-293-3000.
Hey folks, here's great news for active aging seniors. The Kanega Watch, the only medical alert smartwatch with built-in fall detection. Yeah, the Kanega Watch is much different than the other guys. It's a stylish, discreet watch you can wear all the time. Get help through the watch in one of 3 ways. Your voice, pushing the watch's alert button, or have the fall detection connect you to a U.S.-based 24/7 monitoring center who'll speak to you through your watch and can send help to your GPS location nationwide. And get this, it can do that even if you're not responsive. This is true 24/7 peace of mind for you and those that love you. Order your Kanega Watch with a full refund 30-day trial period. Call now, 800-413-7152. 800-413-7152. 800-413-7152. That's 800-413-7152.
Hey, it's Katie, reminding you to subscribe to our show podcast so you never miss anything that happens here at News Talk STL. Get our podcasts every day on the show pages at newstalkstl.com or just subscribe to your favorite shows on Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, or anywhere else you get your podcasts.
Mike Ferguson.
This is the kind of adventure I usually have to force upon us, and here it is, falling into our laps.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
They're buying it.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
Why don't you pop a squat, son?
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin God.
We've got new information regarding the shooter who murdered 2 people at the high school in St. Louis earlier this week. And yes, some of the left's narratives are falling apart on this, but I really don't want the conversation to be about left versus right. We're just going to focus on what the facts are, and let's follow those. So we'll start that in about 60 seconds. It is 8:06 right now. At 8:20, we've got our news roundup coming your way, and also a little bit of breaking news out of California. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul, was assaulted. Apparently somebody broke into their home in San Francisco and he got hit or beaten up or something along those lines. That's all we know. We have no idea whether this is anything having to do with them being Pelosi's or whether this is just more San Francisco crime. We just don't know.
Well, what we do know is that he's going to make a full recovery, and they have the assailant in custody, so I'm sure we're going to find out what the motive is.
And at around 8:20, that may be what we know, but we'll go over what we do know as part of the news roundup. And then at 8:35, there's a really cool special event coming up in St. Charles tomorrow. It's actually a comedy show there in the streets of St. Charles, and it's for an awesome cause. But if you just want to go see a comedy show, we'll tell you how to do it. And we're going to talk to Carrie Warren from Burns Recovered, which is putting on the event. And it's I think it's like 3:30 or 4 in the afternoon, so it's not a late night thing. So it's a perfect Saturday type of event that you can get out and then still go out and have fun with your friends or do Halloween stuff or whatever after. So 8:35, we'll tell you all about that. I'm Mike Ferguson, 8:08 right now. That's Ken Williams. All right, another day, another update on the school shooting in St. Louis. And by the way, if you got some thoughts or reaction to this, I'd love to hear it at 314-912-1019. Okay, so when I say the narrative is falling apart, what I mean is not just what we were originally told seems to be incorrect, but what we're seeing is the claims being made by people who want to jump to politicize it. Well, their claims are falling apart as well. So remember, we were told by police earlier that that Orlando Harris, who was the murderer, legally owned the gun used to kill 2 people and injure 7 other people. Turns out that's not the case under state and federal law. He was involuntarily committed, according to multiple reports, to a mental health treatment facility at least one point, and his attempt to purchase a gun because he was involuntarily committed was actually blocked by the background check. Caroline Hecker from our news partners KMOV gives us kind of a rundown as to how he got that gun anyway.
Harris's family called police with concerns over the gun being inside their home. The gun then went to a third party. Eventually, the gun got back into Harris's hands.
And we're not sure how that happened. We do know that he stored it at one of those rental storage facilities in South County. Because they actually have video of him bringing the gun in and storing it, so it wasn't kept at his house.
So the parents, they may not have known.
Everything that we have right now indicates that they didn't know, and they successfully got it out of their home, thinking they were getting the gun away from him. That's all I can guess at this point. But here's the thing: is that when you sell a gun, like if Ken says, "Hey, Mike, I want to buy your gun," and I go and sell it to him, that's just it. I just sell it to you. I don't have a legal responsibility to do a background check on you, nor should I.
Now, what are my obligations as the purchaser?
If you are somehow prohibited from owning a gun, if you had a felony, if you had some sort of disqualifying thing, it is on you to obey the law. And unless I know for sure that it's illegal for you to own a gun, it's nothing on me, but it's on you. And that's the case we've got here. So far, what we know, or at least what the police understand from the transaction, is that the guy who sold this murderer this gun didn't do anything illegal as far as we know. Now, we may end up finding out that he was aware of the mental health thing, and if so, that's a whole different thing. But what it looks like right now is that it was legal for him to sell it, even if it wasn't legal for this guy to possess it, this murderer. So what's happening now is you're seeing this now creeping into the news articles. Well, because of Missouri's Second Amendment Preservation Act, that they're not allowed to enforce federal laws, and they're really conflating SAPA with other things. And also you're hearing them say, well, because Missouri doesn't have a red flag law. But my question is, wait a minute, the background check blocked the guy and he went and found a gun anyway. Isn't that what we've been pointing out the fallacy of gun control laws when you say gun control laws stop shootings and save lives. Well, the background check blocked him, it flagged him, but he got it anyway. Criminals don't pay attention to these laws.
No, they don't. That's all there is to it. I mean, we can talk about, okay, so just as a crazy scenario that somehow voted to get rid of all of the guns. Somebody's going to find an implement to kill somebody. I can't imagine that they're going to just, it's going to completely end any school criminal activity.
Right. Yeah, because if you're deranged enough to do this, the best option we have is to make sure that that the schools and houses of worship or public facility, that they are as difficult of a target as possible.
Yeah.
And I don't want to think in terms of schools and children as targets, but guess what? That's how they think.
Yeah.
So you can pass all the gun control laws you want. This is more evidence of anything of the futility of these laws. But that's what the many people on the left, because they're looking at any opportunity to advance this agenda. But for those of us who are either, you call yourself a Second Amendment supporter, you're on the side of personal freedom, you're constantly feeling like you're on the defensive when something like this happens, and you're made to feel guilty because you still understand that we have a human right to self-defense. We should not be. What we should be doing, first of all, is reminding people that what this is about are people who lost their lives and got hurt at the hands of a deranged madman who was not going to let a single law stand in his way.
And has serious mental health issues.
Significant, already documented, well-known mental health issues. This wasn't something that was new, and people are looking around going, boy, if only we knew that he had mental health issues. We knew. I say we. I mean, the police knew. Medical professionals knew. The family knew, and the family was desperately trying to get help. And at one point, they even had him committed. They tried to get him on medicine. It doesn't look like it's his family's fault at all, but the narrative and the argument over gun control and conservatives and liberals right now is incredibly, I would say it's getting to the point of being disrespectful to the people who were killed and their families.
Yeah.
Because we do need to focus on solutions, but what's happening is we're getting retread arguments over gun control laws that don't work, and that's going to be used for more division and more tribalism. The Democrats in the legislature already have said this is going to be their cause in the next legislative session in Missouri, which is going to go nowhere, which means that all the Tony Messengers of the world and the Riverfront Times of the world are going to take their condescending approach that you're just evil and love it when kids die if you oppose things that take away personal freedom when it comes to firearms.
Absolutely, and I'm sure the Post-Dispatch will be right in there with them.
Of course they will. Absolutely. That's what Tony's going to write, I'm sure.
Yeah.
314-912-1019. We've got your news roundup coming your way, including an attack on the husband of the Speaker of the House. We don't know a lot right now, but I'll tell you what we do know right around 8:20 here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
You have a soul so dark it is no more. And all at once depart, no destination.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter.
Had enough of this. Turn my eyes to your indifference. Stop it right now before you blow us all away. You wanna do that now? Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this is your cousin car. Get up, what are you waiting for? Get up.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Want to give me more information?
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. 270 eastbound approaching Lilac. There's an accident blocking the left lane. There is a minor delay as you approach the crash. 40 westbound downtown after Jefferson. There's an accident blocking the left lane. Traffic is stop and go from 14th Street. 70 westbound before Branch. Construction work has the right lane closed until 2 p.m. this afternoon. And 70 westbound after Highway 94. There's road work in the right lane until 3:30. Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters shipped directly to you at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are easy to install and guaranteed to fit. Don't overpay for new blinds. Shop today and save big. Blindster.com. I'm Kat from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
The Range St. Louis West is Missouri's best indoor shooting range. With 20 climate-controlled lanes, over 70 firearms available to rent, and the best staff in the business, you're guaranteed to enjoy every minute of your time with us. Our impressive showroom is full of the latest and greatest offerings from the best manufacturers in the business. Need an optic, spare magazines, holster, or any other accessory? Let our professional staff help you find exactly what you need and get it installed for you. Mention you heard us on News Talk STL and save $100 on your membership and enjoy even more goodies. The Range St. Louis West. Are you ready?
Have you been floored? Not until you've gone to Michael's Flooring Outlet. They've been a locally owned and operated family business for more than 28 years. You want variety? Michael's has carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, natural stone, and many other options. Save money and get quality at Michael's. Plus, your installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's. You can shop in store at one of their 3 convenient locations or shop from home. Check out everything that Michael's has to offer at igotfloored.com.
Columbo and Katie.
When is the timeline of an announcement like that appropriately expected?
First off, if it was not Donald Trump, I would tell you that it would happen probably next spring, late winter, early spring. Donald Trump doesn't do things traditionally. No. I would argue, it would not surprise me that he would, if he were to announce between the election and the end of the year.
Tony Columbo, Katie Fitzpatrick. Weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL. Commentary.
A popular pasta chain may be in deep meatballs for their inflation fee upcharge. I'm Tommy Lahren. Find out next.
Democrats predicted an end to high inflation, but nothing has changed. In fact, food and housing prices are still going higher. Hi, this is Stephen K. Bannon, and I urge you to protect your savings from inflation by diversifying into a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, simply text the word SHELTER to 989898, and you'll get a free info kit on gold IRAs that will explain everything. Again, that's SHELTER to 989898. There's no obligation or purchase required.
Everything is more expensive in Biden's America, and that includes pasta. But did one Italian chain go too far? Romano's Macaroni Grill is being sued by a consumer attorney over what the lawsuit calls a deceptive $2 inflation fee. Since spring, the restaurant has been charging this fee due to higher cost of goods and services. The problem, according to the class action suit, is that fee was not disclosed in the restaurant, by servers, or on the menu. It only showed up as a menu item on customer receipts. The suit also alleges the fee was arbitrary and lacked merit, as if the charge was set willy-nilly. There's no doubt restaurants are in a pinch thanks to Biden's economic policies. Heck, we're all feeling the Brandon effect. The question is, do businesses have the right to pass the buck? And is it fair to consumers who are already struggling to afford a casual dinner out? Either way, the buck should stop at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I'm Tommy Lahren.
St. Louis's place to talk.
Because that's where the votes are getting stolen. When you get into the facts and logic and reason thing, it drives me crazy because you're right. I call it the oh my God virus.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com.
America's talking to Fox News.
Halloween is just around the corner. What will you dress up as? And what is your favorite thing about spooky season?
I need trick or treat for candy. I have a sauce. And me, Jaffiel, a pirate.
Bob Ross. I love to paint. I painted oceans, clouds, trees before. The only thing I love about trick or treating is you get to see other people's costumes, all the decorations of the scary movies.
I like the candy.
It'd be Steve from Blue's Clues.
Usually we go to a cousin's house and the neighborhood, we go trick-or-treating. She's not sure what she wants to do.
I got to be a snipe. I'm an Among Us imposter. I'm going to be trick-or-treating this year. I'm going to be a princess. So my favorite character is Dustin, and I really like the season 3 costume. I decided to dress up as him.
We're just going to walk around to see the houses. We're not going to actually trick-or-treat.
Hermione Granger from Harry Potter. Happy Halloween!
America's talking to Fox News.
A little bit of breaking news out of San Francisco. Early this morning, somebody broke into the house of Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, and somehow her husband Paul was attacked.
Yeah.
He was assaulted. Now, that really is the beginning and end of what we know. We know that the suspect in the case has already been caught and is arrested. We know that Paul Pelosi is expected to make a full recovery, so thank goodness it doesn't look like he was hurt very badly. But you've got somebody who's at a very, very advanced age. It would not take much to really do a lot of damage, and there's no knowledge whatsoever of what the motive is right now. There have been attacks. I mean, not far from there in Washington State, Congresswoman Jayapal, who's one of the most liberal. She was the target of somebody who wanted to harm her a few months ago. Lee Zeldin, the Republican nominee for governor in New York, recently had someone try to attack him. He ran up on the stage.
Well, what about our Supreme Court justice?
Court justices as well. So here's the thing: is that we do not know if this is part of that pattern. Keep in mind, in San Francisco, they are so infested with violent crime that this could be somebody who had no idea whose home they were breaking into. It could be that simple.
Yeah.
But we don't know. But thankfully, Paul Pelosi it appears that he's going to make a recovery from whatever injuries that he actually has.
But the irony of that outcome is very interesting, and I want to know. I want to know what get the facts first and find out what this guy's motive was.
Yeah, he's Paul Pelosi's still in the hospital. The suspect is under arrest. Nancy Pelosi was not home when this happened, so it's probably going to be a few days before we can start piecing any of this together at this point.
Yeah.
But the news may come out over the weekend. We'll see. Other news that's happening, as we just mentioned a few minutes ago, a couple of updates to the situation regarding the shooting at the Visual and Performing Arts High School. The shooter tried to buy his weapon from a licensed gun dealer in St. Charles, was turned down because he failed the background check because of his mental health status and recently having been committed to a facility. And news reports say that he was involuntarily committed to that facility as well. So the bottom line is that the background check stopped him from buying it legally, but it did not stop him from getting a gun. Just as pretty much every gun control law is not going to stop a criminal from actually getting their hands on the weapon. My hope is that at some point we can say, listen, we've got some bad people and we've got some people suffering from these mental illnesses. Let's address these things from that perspective of humanity and stop trying to take away rights of people who are, frankly, just law-abiding citizens who want to be able to defend themselves. All right, it is official. Elon Musk now completely in control of Twitter. The purchase is complete. He has actually, he's actually now taken his office in the building, and he is making changes. Variety of a group saying that there are big changes already happening. Fox News' Brooke Singman has the story.
Elon Musk completing his $44 billion Twitter takeover, and he's wasting no time immediately cleaning house. He's firing CEO Parag Agrawal and 2 other top executives in his first power move as owner. And hours later, tweeting out, quote, "The bird has been freed," referencing Twitter's logo. Reports indicate Elon plans to fire up to 75% of the social media giant's workforce. Bloomberg is also reporting Musk will reverse lifetime Twitter bans, which can pave the way for people like former President Trump, the Babylon Bee, and others to return to the platform.
Looks like the Babylon Bee, actually, as of a few minutes ago, is already back on Twitter. Musk said in a statement that he's interested in owning the company and he wants it to become a place where people do not go into echo chambers. He said he's got a fear that social media will splinter into far right and far left echo chambers, and he wants Twitter to be the place where everybody can be as crazy as they want from any perspective that they want.
And I told you off the mic that this has always been my stance, is that let the crazies out. Let them show themselves as to how crazy they are, and let us see them.
And I also want to note that it is absolutely legal in this country to see an insane tweet from somebody who's on the extreme left, or if you're a liberal on the extreme right. It is absolutely legal in this country to look at that, disagree, think it is stupid, think it is inflammatory, not respond, scroll on, and move on with your day.
Exactly.
It's legal to do. I'm just saying you are able to do that.
And it's also legal to respond.
It is legal to do that too, even more legal on Twitter right now.
Yeah.
All right.
We've got John.
John. Hey, John, you're on News Talk STL.
Yeah. I was just thinking what you guys are saying. A person that's criminally insane and wants to commit problems, they could go to the local hardware store. All the supplies there in carpentry and lawn and garden, and then they got to remember what the first murder weapon was. It was a rock. So you can't stop them. You just have to have somebody there prepared.
Yeah, and John, the reason that I keep bringing that up is, one, I'm angry that we are shifting so quickly into the politics of it and away from the people of it. But every time we see something along these lines, the argument is, well, there's a lack of laws, and that's why that's happened, as though a lack of laws caused this, when the reality is it's that the few laws that are on the books, and many of those are unconstitutional, simply prove the point that you can stop peaceful, law-abiding people from being able to protect themselves, but you're not going to be able to stop criminals from doing it.
To save money years ago, people that were like him, that were institutionalized, they kept them in an institution and watched over them, but it got expensive. They probably in the 60s or 70s, they turned them all loose, put them out on the streets. So a lot of those people, if they were living back in the 60s, they wouldn't be on the streets in a tent city or something. They would be in an institution being cared for, people give them 3 meals and all of this.
Yeah, John, that's why we talk about in the show that we need to address the mental health issue. And on your remark about the hardware store, I hate it when the local media says, and they did it on TV about this report. They say gun violence. It's not gun violence. It's not hammer violence. It's not machete violence or car violence. It's the person. It's the mental health issue.
Yeah, John, exactly. Hey, appreciate you being on the show. Have a fantastic weekend. Now, keep in mind, a lot of those institutions, though, they were there were a lot of people treated horribly.
Oh,
in a lot of those institutions. So there was more than just the cost that went into people being released. There were some really inhumane conditions that happened in not all, but many of those institutions.
No, I know, and I totally agree with that, because I've heard some horror stories myself. But we still need to address it, and we actually need to do investment in mental health.
I agree.
In some fashion.
I absolutely agree. Let's see here. Metro Transit introducing a sale. So starting on Tuesday the 1st through December 31st, monthly passes are going to be $50. I think they're usually $70 or $80 or something.
I did not know they were that expensive.
Yeah, for a monthly pass.
I know, but that's
unlimited. Yeah, and then weekly passes are going to be $15, and they're usually $27. But that's only for November and only for December. A couple sports notes, real quick. Let's see here. We've got the Blues that lost 3 in a row.
I know
that one last night kind of sucked.
That did.
Yeah, the Predators scored the last 5 goals of the game. The final score was 6-2. So Blues have dropped 3 straight. They host the Canadiens on Saturday. World Series begins tonight. Philadelphia Phillies taking on the Houston Astros. First pitch is at 7:03 in Houston. The series is on over-the-air TV on Fox.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Go Phillies.
I'm pulling for the Phillies too. I am. I know it's petty, but I haven't forgiven the Astros for their last World Series win. Now, I do think the Astros are the better team overall, but I kind of hope the Phillies win.
I think the edge on the Phillies side is that they just have the emotional. They're on an upswing right now. They're in the middle of that.
They've got that intangible it factor, as we painfully experienced at Busch Stadium earlier. Earlier this month. But hey, if you're going to lose to somebody, at least lose to the team that wins it all, right?
Right.
And I've said it before, JT Realmuto, really good catcher, and he plays the game right, and I really want him to get a win. So for that reason, I'm pulling for the Philadelphia Phillies. Hey, you want to go to a comedy show this weekend? We're going to tell you how to do it at 8:35 here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
For podcast articles and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com. Whether at home or at work, you're mobile. So when you're mobile, stay mobile. Keep St. Louis's home for conservative talk with you wherever you go. Download the News Talk STL app in the App Store or at NewstalkSTL.com.
From the News Talk STL newsroom, I'm Joey Vasevich. Flood recovery assistance is available at 2 FEMA disaster recovery centers in the Metro East starting today. Those centers will be located at the Clyde Jordan Senior Citizen Center in East St. Louis and the Caseyville Village Hall. Governor Parson paid a visit to St. Louis on Thursday to thank the heroes who rushed into the South St. Louis High School to protect students and teachers from the gunman. At a closed meeting at the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department headquarters, Parson thanked the men and women in uniform for their bravery. Ameren says its customers could see an average of 4.5% off their energy bills per year because of the newly passed Federal Inflation Reduction Act. The savings are predicted to be $4.50 per month for an average residential customer, although that depends on future rate reviews and when planned projects go into service. An 83-year-old St. Louis County woman appeared in federal court Wednesday to admit to participating in several romance and work-at-home scams. Between September of 2020 and May of 2021, the woman received deliveries of more than $690,000 from people she didn't know through the mail. That money had been sent from victims who believed they were assisting their online lovers or had been hired to work from home. And in sports, the Blues fell to the Predators 6-2 in Nashville last night for their 3rd loss in a row. Next up, the Blues welcome the Canadiens to Enterprise on Saturday night. Puck drop is at 6 p.m. For in-depth coverage of these stories and more, go to NewstalkSTL.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. 270 northbound approaching 55, there's an accident blocking the right lane. 270 eastbound after Lilac Avenue, all lanes are back open from an earlier accident. 40 westbound downtown after Jefferson, all lanes are back open from that earlier crash. Traffic is flowing freely as you approach Jefferson. And 70 westbound before Branch, drivers are tapping their brakes for construction work that has the right lane closed until about 2 p.m. this afternoon, and westbound 70 after Highway 94, roadwork has the right lane blocked until about 3:30. Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters shipped directly to you at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are easy to install and guaranteed to fit. Don't overpay on new blinds. Shop today and save big. Blindster.com. I'm Kat from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Skies becoming sunny today. Another mild day with a high of 64 degrees under those sunny skies. The winds will be light out of the northeast and it stays dry today, tonight, and tomorrow. 44 degrees on Saturday morning, the high 65, but clouding up a little bit. And some rain moving in Saturday night into Sunday. The high on Sunday near 61 degrees. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Everyone loves a champion, someone whose performance puts them head and shoulders above the rest. But not all champions wear a medal or hoist a trophy. At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, we see champions everywhere we look. In every sport, on every court, we're building a foundation to ensure all athletes are safe, supported, and strengthened. We believe abuse can be prevented by taking a hard look at how we coach, how we train, and how we interact after the last whistle. We have provided over 2 million safe sport trainings. At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, ending abuse is not just our job, it's our promise.
Hi, I'm Bob Mahachek, and I'm running for state representative in the 92nd District. What do inflation, high energy prices, and out-of-control crime have in common? They're all the direct result of failed policies of the left. We've got to bring some common sense back into government. I'm proud to be endorsed by the St. Louis County Police Association and the Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. I'd appreciate your vote on November 8th. That's Bob Mahachek for state rep in the 92nd District. Thank you.
Paid for by Mahachek from Missouri, George Weinbright, Treasurer.
Hey, Columbo here, and many of you know that one of my favorite things to do when I have some free time is to get out on the water and go fishing. And the folks at Bluff City Outdoors in Alton are the people you should see before your next fishing trip. No matter what you're fishing for, they have everything you need, from gear to lures to live bait. Plus, they can even set you up on a guided fishing tour on the Mississippi River. Make sure the tackle box is ready for your next trip by visiting Bluff City Outdoors at 2813 East Broadway in Alton and BluffCityOutdoors.com.
Do you have a property that is more hassle than is worth? Hi, this is David with House Sold Easy, and I buy houses cash. If you own a property and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-293-3000. Do you own an ugly property, a behind on mortgage payment property, a lazy tenant that won't pay rent property, a too much junk and clutter property, or even a, hey, I'm curious about a fair cash offer property? Well, don't worry. I buy them all, and I want to make you a fair cash offer. Call me at 314-293-3000.
The midterm election. Decision 22 News.
It's going to put some pressure on all of us to up our game.
Decision 22 Analysis.
A midterm election route.
Decision 22 Opinion.
You're going in for a problem.
Decision 2022 happens on News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Got your weekend plans made?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yours aren't fun, though.
No, I know. I have a lot of work to do.
You got work to do in your house. You don't count. All right, it's 8:38. I'm Mike Ferguson. Got Ken Williams here. Well, Saturday afternoon, you've actually got an option to go see a comedy show. That's always funny. I mean, that's always great. But this one goes beyond that, in that it's supporting an organization that works with little kids who have endured something that is just some of the worst things that you could do. It's a little bit personal to me as well. But I'm joined now by Carrie Warren from the Burns Recovered Support Group, or just Burns Recovered. And Carrie, good to talk to you again. Been a little while. Comedy show tomorrow. What on earth does a comedy show have to do with Burns Recovered?
Hey, Mike. It's good to talk to you again. So this is our first, hopefully, an annual. We're calling it Burns Recovered's Got Talent. It's talent and comedy. And what it has to do with comedy is that we like to bring other burn survivors from around the country in, to meet with and talk to the burn survivors that we have here in the St. Louis and Missouri area. And we're bringing in a guy who's a comedian named Bobby Henline. He's a U.S. Army veteran. He sustained a pretty severe injury during his tour of duty. And during his kind of recovery journey from his burn, he coped with it using humor, and he became a comedian. So we wanted to bring him in for our survivor community here to share his story and share his comedy, and have a night to get together with our survivor community and have some fun. The other aspect to it is every year at our camp we have for kids that have survived a severe burn injury, they have a talent show, and it's an amazing evening at camp where everybody comes together and shares whatever they think their talent is. It could be anything from, we have one camper who can peel and eat a banana with her feet. We have, some that sing, some that dance. And we wanted to bring kind of that special, experience to everybody here in St. Louis. So it's a comedy and talent show.
Okay, so basically what I'm hearing you say is we really don't know what's going to happen at this thing tomorrow.
Boy, you got that right. It's very free form, kind of like what we do at camp. The cool thing about it is we promote an experience where everybody feels comfortable to be themselves, share their story, share what's awesome and special about them. It's really pretty an amazing community that we have, and we want to celebrate that.
Okay, so let's pause and just go over the basic details. What time and where, and are tickets still available, all that kind of thing?
Absolutely. Yep. It starts at 4:00. The performers go on around 4:30. We do still have tickets left. We're charging $35. It's an appetizer and the full show, the kids acts, the adults acts, and then Bobby's feature comedy act towards the end. And it's at the Funny Bone Streets of St. Charles, which is a relatively newer location for them. It's really cool. It's right over the bridge, kind of where Noah's Ark used to be, if people know that. It's like a really cool big shopping center now. Yeah, so it's going to be really awesome.
Wow, there's a vintage reference.
Did
Noah's Ark,
man,
man remembers Noah's Ark. That's where Streets of St. Charles is. But basically, it's right across the street from like where Bar Louie is, and it's in that area,
right in that little complex. Correct.
Right.
Yeah, it's real easy to park there, head in. It's like you go inside the building, and then their club is in there. It's really nice.
And
I've been to the Westport one a lot, but yeah, the St. Charles one is really cool. So
yeah, and what's that? Let's do the website real quick, and we'll do it before we go here in a few minutes. But can you get the tickets on the website?
Yes, it is www.brsg.org, which stands for Burns Recovery Support Group.org.
Okay.
And you just scroll down and click on the event, and it'll take you to the ticketing site.
Yeah, and 4:00 should be like a real easy time for a lot of people as well. So I mean,
yeah, and honestly, the first part of the show before Bobby's comedy stint is PG, so you can bring kids. We are going to have an intermission before he does his main comedy show. He's going to talk a little bit at the beginning, but his main monologue, sometimes it gets a little, how comedy can get.
Oh, yeah.
It's not quite, PG, so we are going to have an intermission where we're going to ask kiddos to leave, and then the adults will stay for his comedy. So.
Okay. And I mentioned, that this strikes a little different chord with me, so I'm asking everybody to kind of bear with me a little bit. I'm actually a third-degree burn survivor myself. I mean, Carrie, you knew that. We've met. We've talked about that. But, if you look real close on the camera, you can sometimes, if you get it just right angle, you can see some of the scars that are still visible on my neck. But I've got a pretty good amount of my body that's burned with shoulders and chest and things like that. So I wish there were an organization like this. When I was little, when I was burned, when I was, I think I was 2 or 3 or something like that, old enough to where I don't remember when it happened. But what is it that you do for these children and, frankly, their families? Because it really is a lifelong injury.
It absolutely is. I mean, we've all got, we've all got things we deal with, scars on the inside, insecurities, but these kids have very visible scars. And imagine trying to grow up as a child with, that looks different than your friends. And you might have to endure some surgeries or treatments. Our kiddos all come together and they can see from, meeting their friends that also have survived this, that other kids look like them. They've gone through some of the same things. They don't have to be embarrassed. They don't have to feel like, they have to answer a bunch of questions. Everybody just gets it. They get each other. They realize that they're not the only ones going through that.
Yeah, and so
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and so in addition to those groups, but you also do provide some physical things too, as far as specialty items that not all medical facilities even stock, as I recall.
Right. We serve burn survivors starting from the moment of their injury while they're in the hospital through their entire lives, their entire recovery journey. But when they're in the hospital, sometimes there's medical supplies, for instance, compression garments that they need to keep their injury healing the way it should be. And a lot of times those aren't covered. So we do offer medical assistance scholarships to help people pay for those things, because they can be, like $2,000 for a set of that. And, that's not anything that most average people can afford. So we do help with those kind of costs. And then costs as far as when people come in, if they travel to St. Louis and to Kansas City, our burn centers from far away. And if their loved ones need help staying locally, we help with those kind of things as well.
And so events like the one happening tomorrow, it benefits exactly those kinds of things you just listed off.
Exactly, and our big program that most people that know us for Midwest Children's Burn Camp, which is the annual burn camp we do every year at Camp Tomstock. It's a week long. It's residential. They stay overnight, and that's where they get to experience all their peers and friends and all the activities that we have planned for them. So it's a pretty amazing experience.
All right, Carrie Warren from Burns Recovered. Let's do the website once again. So, and just to point out, There are still tickets available for both the PG and then obviously the the real comedy show that's happening tomorrow.
Exactly. It's www.brsg.org.
And even if you've already got plans for tomorrow, go ahead and check that website as well. Hopefully it's something that people can check out and help out as well. Carrie, appreciate you being on the show.
I really appreciate it, too. Thanks, Mike.
All right. BRCG, or Burns Recovered Support Group, BRSG.org is where you're going to find that information. All right.
What a great idea. Put comedy in there.
Yeah, I got to check because I'm supposed to do something, but I really want to go out and see that. So I may see if I can get out there. I can't promise it, but I'm gonna see if I can. 314-912-1019. They're, as far as I'm concerned, they're doing God's work at that organization. All right, this is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
For podcast articles and more, find us on NewstalkSTL.com. You're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning on Newstalk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by NetSpend All Access Account. 270 northbound after 55, there's an accident blocking the right lane. 70 eastbound at Cave Springs, there's a disabled vehicle blocking the left lane. 70 westbound before Branch, road construction has the right lane closed until about 2 p.m. this afternoon. And westbound after Highway 94, there's road work blocking the right lane. Manchester Road at Barrett Station Road, there's a report of a crash. NetSpend All Access Account. Get the account designed for your everyday mobile banking needs. Banking services provided by and account established by Pathword, NA member FDIC. Deposit account opening is subject to registration and ID verification. Terms and costs apply. I'm Kat from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Columbo and Katie.
Join us on Friday as we'll talk to Missouri House candidate Justin Sparks at 2:25 and get the weekend forecast from KMOV Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton at 2:45.
Weekdays at 2 on Newstalk STL.
I'm Ryan Higgins, and I approve this message. Our state needs fresh faces in government. That's why I'm running for state representative, to support and fully fund law enforcement and to give parents a bigger voice in their son and daughter's education. Also, as the son of a small business owner, I will make protecting small business a priority. Finally, and certainly not lastly, I will fight for our middle class that has been hit so hard the past 2 years. I know our future is bright, but the time is now to elect common sense candidates. I'm Ryan Higgins, and I'm running for the state representative from Missouri's 98th House District.
Paid for by Higgins from Missouri. Megan Higgins, Treasurer.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-979-3060. 800-979-3060. 800-979-3060. That's 800-979-3060.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
What citizen wouldn't want to make American great again?
Live and local.
And their leadership has been substandard.
I think the word substandard is immensely polite.
This is News Talk STL. Like us on Facebook at News Talk STL. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
What are you doing?
My headphone cord got wrapped up in my chair.
Wow.
We are professionals. Don't try this at home.
Yeah.
Cream of the crop. Getting my cord wrapped under the chair. Oh, geez. Okay, 8:51. I'm Mike Ferguson. Got Ken here. I really appreciate Paul Kurtman pinch hitting for Gabe today. Vic Porcelli now in the studio
What up,
as
y'all?
well.
Hey, Vic.
You saw, I don't know if you heard as you were coming in, comedy show tomorrow.
I did hear that. That
Yeah.
sounds like fun.
That's like right up your alley, man.
And, that guy that is a burn victim himself, that'd
Yeah.
be the headliner. I think that's just outstanding.
Yeah,
I
and
really
a
do.
veteran. The burns came from his tour of duty.
Sure, yeah.
So
yeah.
you've got everything that's wrapped up there. And I didn't realize until Carrie said, she goes, okay, so we got the show, we got the kids, and he's to come out and do a talk. Then we're going to have an intermission and kiddies go away. Then it's just real comedy. It's
Yeah.
just a comedy show. You know?
Comedy gets rough.
Yeah. So apparently that's what it's going to. So it's just look up Burns Recovered, and you're going to find that event that's happening at starting at 4:00 tomorrow. Or I have a feeling that if you just wanted to go to the later show, you could probably do that too. But the ticket cost actually includes some food.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll take some food, you bet.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
I've never been known to turn down
Nope.
food, have I?
Yeah,
What does that mean?
precisely.
No,
What does that
me.
mean?
I said for me.
Whatever.
Uh-huh. Jeez. Oh, my goodness. All right, so a lot of things happening right now. Twitter now, if you are on the left, Twitter has fallen. If you are on the right, Twitter is now going to be where you can say what you want to say. I guess it's all perspective.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think that people are cracking me up. I got actually a Twitter message from Nick Schroer last night. Did you get it?
No. Which one?
People are going crazy. It's like, okay, so now we can say whatever we want, right?
Right.
By the way, I hope you get your account back. Babylon B is back.
I know.
Maybe you'll get your account back, right?
Well, I'm still working on my new one, so I don't know.
So this guy, Sean Farash, had about 50 tweets in a row. COVID vaccine sucks. There's only two genders. Ivermectin works. Trump won. Men don't get pregnant. The virus came from China. It's like 50 of them. He's like, nah, there you go. I'll say what I want.
What I was talking about, the big thing I think for this is going to be like when there's a laptop that's exposed and they don't try and call it disinformation. Those are going to be the big ones.
We'll get everything now.
Yeah.
We'll get everything.
It's funny because basically what we're seeing on Twitter right now is the equivalent of somebody who is set free for the first time or they get out of jail and just start running and going, "Ah!" because you can.
Yeah.
Because you actually can without fear of any sort of repercussion. And I've seen a couple of more liberal accounts saying, well, my followership is going down. What does that say? Well, it means the liberals may be leaving Twitter right now but the funny part is that conservatives left Twitter because of those who did leave or stopped tweeting because that they were at risk of what they had to say being banned and not allowed. If liberals are leaving, it's because conservatives are allowed to say what they want to say without being banned.
Not because they can't
Not because they can't say it.
Right. That's the thing. It's a rough week for Rob Reiner this week. That's all
Oh,
I want to say.
I love that.
Between the Twitter thing and next
Love it.
Tuesday, and,
What did Meathead say? I mean, did he promise to leave?
He promised to leave Twitter. He promised to leave the country if they lose control of the Senate and the House.
Yeah.
Okay.
So bye-bye.
Well, he can afford it. There are All in the Family reruns playing
He's so
somewhere.
toxic, though.
Yeah.
He's like that one guy. What's his name from CNN? Joe
Scarborough? No.
Sorry.
that's
Hollerman? Oh, no.
So stupid.
Oh, I can't remember.
Oh,
anyway.
I don't know.
Anyway.
But he, have you seen that picture of him? I hope you're not eating breakfast right now. Have you seen that picture of him in the bathing suit on the beach?
No.
There's a picture of him in the smallest, tiniest little bathing suit he's got on. Like
Rob Reiner?
Yes. And he's big and fat, fatter than me, if you can imagine that. And this guy made a thing about Twitter being back and all the picture of Rob Reiner all on this one picture, like 1,000 of them on there.
So he's like wearing a Speedo or something?
It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Guys, there are like 15 guys in the world who can pull off a Speedo, and they're all in the Olympics.
Right.
Don't do it. Just say no.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
I'm good with it.
Yeah.
So this thing, though, they were saying that now it's going to be the Wild Wild West. Well, it's been that way for the left the whole time.
That's right.
The left could do whatever they want. Now that the right can, it's just going to be insane.
And he already fired the CEO, CFO. They're all gone already.
Yeah.
The people who are responsible for all of those rules and algorithms that were kicking people off for stating opinions.
Yeah. Well, it couldn't come soon enough. I mean, we got 11 days to state our case on Twitter.
Yeah, my guess is that you are going to see a flurry and explosion of all kinds of like verbal chaos, not verbal, but communication chaos, and then it's going to settle into whatever the normal's going to be.
Yeah,
it's really not going to be a big deal. That's the weird thing.
I know.
Everybody's just going to say what they want to say.
Yeah,
it's going to be like Nextdoor. You guys know about Nextdoor? It's like kind of like a social media, but for your local neighborhood.
Oh, I think my wife has that.
You know, and you hear
I don't care about my neighbors enough, but she does. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh.
That's, but people on this Nextdoor. Did anyone hear gunshots last night?
Yeah.
About 11 o'clock, I heard gunshots, and I'm like, it's not gunshots. Why don't you shut up and go back to bed? It's kind of like that.
Yeah. Mr. Smith over there needs a muffler. Is what
exactly right. That's what it was. Sorry, it was a car backfiring, right?
Yeah, there's I think that's the one where like my wife will say, "Hey, have you seen like a brown or light gray or dark gray dog running around?" Because I'm seeing this thing on Nextdoor that there's like a dog running around. Like I don't know.
One time, one lady put up on. I've lived in my house for almost 30 years. And this lady, I guess she's new to the neighborhood, just wanted to remind everyone to put your trash dumpster facing towards the street. I'm like, honey, don't tell me how to put out my garbage, okay?
Please.
I've been doing it for 30 years. Why don't you go move somewhere else?
Those people drive me nuts.
I hate them.
Although I will say that on the rare occasion, because trash day for us is Wednesday, so we take the trash down Tuesday night. On those rare occasions where I actually remember to pull the trash can up on Wednesday, I kind of feel special because I'm like, I'm the good neighbor for once.
Right.
Oh, geez. All right, 20 seconds. What's
Jay
going on?
Ashcroft, Secretary of State, coming up at 9:41. Susie Moore, Sir Paul Cook. We love audio clips.
Read all about it on Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, we'll be there too.
Absolutely.
Bring
all
back
right.
Ken Williams.
Yeah.
Don't make him sneak around and create new accounts.
I know.
Man, what a great party you're throwing here. This wasp nest is great.
Yeah, man, we got about 70 wasps in here.
Too bad we can't fit any more wasps in here. It looks like they're having fun outside, stinging all the kids. Oh, man, who just pulled up?
Oh, no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They seem to kill every one of my parties.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888. Learn more about our special $67 offer. You can visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Hi, this is State Representative Jim Murphy. Rising prices, crime, government overreach. These are issues on the minds of St. Louisans. As your state rep, I share your concerns. I filed legislation that reins in out-of-control bureaucrats, puts an end to gangs pilfering through our cars, and gets stolen guns off the streets. I have voted against out-of-control spending and voted for the biggest tax cut in Missouri history. I ask for your support in November as this work has just begun. Vote Jim Murphy, your state rep.
Paid for by Citizens for Murphy. Mary L. Murphy, Treasurer.
For $1 a day, if any covered appliance breaks in your home, we guarantee to fix or replace it. All makes and models, washers, dryers, refrigerators, air conditioners, and more. Guaranteed to be fixed or replaced for $1 a day. Call the Home Service Club now for free information.
800-399-3701. 800-399-3701. 800